Will Goblin Giant Sparky continue its reign of terror? Will Royal Giant Furnace finally climb above a 50% win rate? Will Expo even get a single win in professional competition this summer? These questions may be answered or maybe not, but guess what? We're going to be here the entire time. Hello, welcome to Clash Royale League. I'm Rich Slayton. Joining me is Andrew Guy. We are back in the OGN Super Arena for a full slate of matches this weekend, for today, for tomorrow, and as we reach the midway point of our season, the fates of these teams, some of them seem like they are almost decided, some of them fighting for their life, fighting for a chance to make it to the World Cyber Games, but most importantly, fighting for a chance to prove that they belong here in CRL West. And they're going to be doing that, of course, Andrew, through our season's match format.
Yeah, so we will be starting off today, as always, with our 2v2 set. 2 players from each team come out to best of 3 set. Following that will be our King of the Hill set. 5 best of 5 games in this. 3 players from each team, 1 life per player. And finally, if necessary, we will move to our 1v1 tiebreaker set, where the best player from each team comes out and tries to take home the match.
And of course, these squads are all trying to go for those World Cyber Games in Xi'an, China. The top 6 teams make our playoffs. The top 3 from that experience go all the way to face off against their Asian and Chinese counterparts, who've also been playing fantastic and very, very well. Very excited about that, but really excited about where our teams are placed right now in our standings.
Yeah, so we'll be starting off today with a big, big game. We've got Complexity and Pain Gaming at 5-1. Pain Gaming will be facing off against number 12 today, Energy. Right behind them is Fnatic and Immortals at 4-2. Tribe Gaming even at 3-3 in 5th place. As we get to the middle of our charts, SK Gaming and Cream Esports nipping at their heels, all 3-3. Team Queso and Misfits right behind them in 8th and 9th place at 2 and 4, along with Team Liquid and Dignitas. Energy, as I stated before, in 12th place, the only team to not find their second victory. A big mountain to climb from 1-5 to go up against 5-1.
And Andrew, a lot will be decided this weekend over the next 8 matches.
Yeah.
Some teams are going to secure themselves a spot in the playoffs, most likely. Some teams, if they don't get a win this weekend, will probably be out of that top 6 and out of contention for going to the World Cyber Games in Xi'an, China. And looking at today's matches, we have some big time matchups that really might define the seasons for some of these squads.
Yes, we have Energy going up against Pain Gaming, number 2 against number 12. On the right side of your screen, you will see our top 4 teams there. And Fnatic going up against Liquid, Complexity going up against Misfits, Immortals going up against Queso. All the home teams today have a lot to prove and a lot of ground to cover, as you just said, Rich. There's going to be a lot decided this week on our playoff standings.
And opening up today, it's a team that really needs a win in Energy, that had their doubleheader the other day and opened up with a bit of a misplay that seemed like it cascaded through their entire thought process for the rest of the day, up against the best team, or arguably the best team in all of CRL West, in Pain.
Yeah, Pain Gaming and Complexity are at 5-1, 1-2, and Energy on the other side, they're on a 4-match losing streak, and in every single one of those matches, they lost the 2v2 set. We've talked about how important that is. On the other side of it, you've got Pain Gaming, who has fallen in their very first match against their Latin American rivals, Cream Esports, but since then, they've gone 5-0, so 2 very different stories from these 2 very, very talented teams.
And you see one big difference is the size of the squad. Over for Energy, only 3 players. This has been the story of the entire season. Not able to fill out the remainder of their roster due to some unfortunate circumstances, and they've struggled for it. It's hurt them a lot going into the King of the Hill, going into 1v1, and they're very talented, just have not been able to find their footing. On the other side, though, you have Pain Gaming that has had a 4-man team that's been almost perfect this season.
Yeah, I mean, when Surge TS, Carnage, and Hen and Kava have done together, they figured out exactly who belongs where in the 2v2 set. They keep their opponents guessing in the King of the Hill and the 1v1, and as you said, Rich, they've been almost perfect this entire season.
So here we go, 2v2. Can Energy turn around their season, or will Pain continue stomping towards China?
So Hen and Kava and Surge TS going up against Carter and Hazard. The 3-man roster makes only perfect sense to have Hazard and Carter come out again, leaving Thunderstruck for their 1v1 set if they get there. Pain Gaming has basically been 2-1 in games in every single one of their sets, being 10-5 overall. But 5-1 in sets, Rich.
Part of Energy's trouble, Andrew, is that they've actually, unlike a lot of other teams, they've tried to really shift the meta over in 2v2.
Yeah.
They've we're not just talking about that giant skeleton, double mirror, double clone trick deck, but they also went Lava Graveyard, Royal Giant Graveyard, trying to mix up win conditions.
Right.
And none of these attempts have worked. They've failed in all 3 attempts at trying to kind of go off the 2v2 meta. But there's something to be said for the fact that they're trying to do new things and mix things up. It just hasn't gone their way.
Yeah, and right now you see another deck that we haven't seen a lot of here at CRL is basically the double Royal Hogs coming out from Energy. On the other side of it, we have 2 miners in play already from Pain Gaming.
So this is exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hazard and Carter, they are unwilling to just play the same game everyone else is playing, and for better or for worse, the results have been a little bit troublesome this year, but they are trying to do something different, and it's really exciting to watch.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, and it's really exciting when these decks do end up paying off. We'll see, like you said, if today they do, and the problem with these double Royal Hogs deck is they create no defensive presence whatsoever other than a kiting ability, and you see, you know, Pain has Snowball, and they have NATO, and you'll be able to put Dark Goblins and Ice Wizards out to slow and destroy those Royal Hogs.
Pain switching things up a bit. They have mostly played double Graveyard or double RG, so this is, I think, only their 3rd time playing a variant of Miner Control.
Cutting through those Hogs like a hot knife in butter.
In fact, color me wrong, this is their 1st time playing Miner Control for Pain Gaming.
Yeah, and we haven't seen big spells come out yet from Pain. That's been a kind of a trend with the Miner. You're able to catch the units that would defend against the Miner with a Rocket or a Fireball or even a Miner Poison, and we see a lot in 1v1. And there you go, Miner Poison coming down for Pain.
There's the first one, and they're out to a pretty significant lead, although Carter and Hazard have done a good job so far of pressuring both lanes.
Yeah, 1186 on that top right tower, not too far behind. And you see that Inferno Tower coming down right before the Royal Hogs.
But also you see this time Hazard and Carter just go with one of the sets of Royal Hogs, so now that's out of cycle, we might see if they try to punish.
Yeah, maybe they'll try to create a rotation or just create another dual lane pressure here. You see the Barbarians coming down. But only 4:02 left on that bottom left-hand tower and only 15 seconds left to play.
And Pain able to get back to that tower very, very quickly. I mean, the cycle of Surge is actually pretty low with Skeletons, Log, and Dark Goblin.
Yeah, so maybe that last spell is or that last card is a Rocket, maybe?
I mean, that could be bad news if it is for Energy.
There it is.
And there it comes. The Rocket is in. Pain Gaming continues to be phenomenal in 2v2.
Yeah, and you know, Hazard and Carter were very close. They were doing really well on that top right-hand tower, but they just could not seem to put together a push with those Royal Hogs. So if maybe they change their win condition, they'll have more success in game number 2.
Yeah, Andrew, maybe a shift would be valuable, but I really hope that Energy, especially in this situation, just continue to try to innovate. They were very close in that game.
Yeah.
They were right there. Just maybe a couple of minor pickups could have made the difference.
Yeah, exactly. A couple minor pickups there. They did have a really tough time getting those Royal Hogs through for the most part, but they did get them through a couple of times, especially when they started coupling them with spells and alternating.
So there we go. That's a minor pickup to open up game number 2. Looks like Pain Gaming doing more of the same.
Yep.
It looks like Hazard and Carter are going back into a more central part of the 2v2 map.
Giant Skeleton coming down for Pain. And a big push coming in on the left-hand side.
Giant Skeleton for Energy as well, able to keep that opposing Giant Skeleton from getting anywhere near their tower. First minute down, and Pain out to a lead again.
You see the Graveyard coming down now from Energy. Poison in response.
Energy has run Graveyard Giant Skeleton before.
And a Log in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen.
That's going to be helpful against those miners coming in.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of misclicks coming out of Energy, and that Log definitely was one. Obviously not a huge deal, only being 2 Elixir. And a NATO coupled with a rocket, and that's what Pain does right there. They recognize a wasted 2 Elixir so they can spend a little bit more than they'd like to or than they normally would in single Elixir to create a big punishment right there.
Well, look at this Graveyard Baby Dragon push.
Yeah.
Energy just, you know, maybe that rocket was a little bit more than Pain should have gone for in that moment.
It did seem very, very aggressive, obviously spending 9 Elixir on the 2 wasted, but still in about half the HP is Pain Game.
So Energy slowing down a little bit.
Great poison value coming in.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's going to get the Dark Goblin a bit. No, the Dark Goblin does not step into poison range.
Log used much more efficiently this time around.
And another GY down. Will the freeze come behind it? There we go. Skeletons on tower down to 220. Now we're in spell range. Looks like Energy is going to take game number 2.
Yeah, and then as we said before, this is kind of the trend that Pain has had. They'll probably lose 1 game in a set. It's very common for them, but it's about the adjustments they make in games 2 and 3, essentially, the ones that they don't lose.
So here we go. Energy with the fist bump, taking a nice win, heading to game number 3 of our opening set.
Nice to see some confidence coming out of the Energy Tower here. They've had a really, really rough time in 2v2. Game 3 on its way.
All evened up, and this would be a big game for Energy to take. Heading into King of the Hill with a cushion, a thing they haven't experienced very much as of late. It would be a big, big win for them, and at least extend their game up against a very difficult King of the Hill opponent.
Yeah, we've seen Pain Gaming dominate a lot in King of the Hill, and Energy 4 2v2 set losses in a row. This would be a really, really great moment for Carter and Hazard to kind of turn the momentum around, build some confidence, as we know how important that is.
So Pain going to Miner one more time.
We've also seen that a lot out of Pain, kind of just going back to the same deck over and over and over, and it has its benefits as well as its pitfalls.
There certainly is the benefit of Rhythm, Andrew. It's one of those things where we talk a lot about how players switching up decks. It's not something you do when you're grinding ladder. You usually grind one deck for a long time, get in rhythm with that deck.
And finding a comfort deck in 2v2 is something that they have the luxury of without bans in play. Now, on the other side of it, you've got Energy trying to keep their opponents guessing with coming out with different things. So now we see a Giant Skeleton and NATO. Maybe we'll see Graveyard from them. Maybe we'll see Royal Giant.
Very well played by Energy to use the Snowball to move the Miner into Tornado range for the King Tower activation.
Yeah, very, very helpful.
So now halfway through regulation time, and Energy does have the King Tower activation, so we'll call that a slight advantage, especially against a Miner deck.
Yeah. Pain Gaming able to vary up their Miner position now. King Tower already active, nothing they have to look out for. That Giant Skelly Bomb will, oh no, Poison will take care of it.
And Giant Skeleton Graveyard again.
Oh, and look at that timing on the freeze, keeping the Giant Skeleton alive to tank, well, getting tanked for by the Skeletons.
Oh, and the guard shield saves those guards for a half moment, and that guard will come in and do a little bit, not a lot.
Energy rotating their graveyards, keeping the pressure up on Pain. Dark Goblin, such a great response to the graveyard.
But not much in cycle this time. They're playing the Fire Spirits on that graveyard, but that's going to be a fair amount of damage to the Skeletons as they spawn. And the freeze comes in very, very well timed.
Just 4 Skeletons alive, and look at the damage they're doing on that tower. What a great last-second freeze by Energy. And now with the poison coming down, they should be able to spell cycle out. Rocket down, guards there, doesn't matter.
Miner in, log in. I don't believe Pain has any way back in time.
Keeping the pressure up, knowing that Pain has to play defense. And look at that! Carter and Hazard finally taking a 2v2 set after 4 matches falling. Great to see Energy back on their game.
Coming up first for Energy, it's going to be Carter, followed by Hazard and Thunderstruck. No surprises by those three, Andrew. And then across from them, Surge TS opening up with Carnage in second. And if necessary, Wen once again playing the anchor.
Yeah, Pain Gaming in a position they've only been in one other time before, falling in the 2v2 set. And the team that beat them was Tribes, B-Rad, and J-Monty.
Now, there is something really important to think about with that, Andrew, is that Pain has gone to the 1v1 set quite often.
Yeah.
In most of their games, in fact. So while they have played well in King of the Hill, they've ended up losing a lot in this set.
And that's something I'm sure Energy has paid very, very close attention to, basically recognizing that they have to take this set because Pain has done very well in that 1v1.
Surge TS going Lava Hound. We have not seen him play this deck yet this season.
Guards coming down last second, but that's not going to be enough with the splash damage of the Dark Prince. That's going to be tower down for Carter. Now, will he have enough? Oh, look at that.
There we go.
The Hunter on top of the balloon, and that is a big good night for Surge TS.
And Carter played that snowball perfectly as well to push the balloon back into max Hunter range.
Yeah. Ewiz does come down, will take a lot of damage there. Wow, a little bit more than he wanted.
That's the only problem with playing the snowball early, was he got the balloon down, which was probably necessary, but now not available to clean up those pups.
Yeah, maybe in the future he'll opt to try to save the poison for the end of the push like that, knowing that the Hunter can come up front and push away with the snowball. But we'll have to see how Carter defends on the next Lava Hound push.
I am just amazed that Carter was able to get that P.E.K.K.A all the way to the tower.
Yeah, very aggressive. He recognized there was probably not a lot in the deck of Surge TS to play on the ground.
We have seen that, you know, the high P.E.K.K.A in response to a Lava Hound. It's worked out a few times.
And, yep, Hunter is going to say Hunter out of cycle, so you imagine a balloon push will come in.
This is just a really, really difficult. There's not a lot of difficult matchups for Lava Loon, Andrew, but I feel like this is one.
Yeah, this is, I mean, the ground presence, as you look, you can see with Surge TS's deck, he's got basically just the guards and the tombstone to play any defense on the ground. So, wow.
That's a lot of fun.
P.E.K.K.A, Dark Prince, Hunter. Fascinating deck construction here from Carter.
And just goes ahead and P.E.K.K.A's right in the pocket.
Ooh, a very well-played tombstone, and now Carter opting to just ignore the push in the bottom of your screen. That balloon will get a decent amount of damage and on the King Tower.
Very, very aggressive from Carter. It's exciting, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Now a second Lava in the pocket.
That Ewiz does need to stay alive, and it will not. Balloon gets to the tower. Hunter on the balloon. Oh my gosh, that is gonna do it.
Oh, wow. Tower, the clock is right there. 28 HP, one last pop.
Oh my goodness.
Carter got aggressive, he played exciting, but Surge TS, Lava Loon does it once again.
Yeah, and you see there, Carter almost throwing his headset, infuriated at how that game went. Looks like Hazard will be up next for Energy. So Surge TS now improving his record to 3-3 in King of the Hill, going up against Hazard, who's 3-6.
And Hazard's got to get one back now. They do have the cushion of going to 1v1 play, but you can see even right now, Hazard a little frustrated as he steps up to the podium.
Yeah, I mean, when there's only 3 of you on a team, you start to feel almost cornered when someone goes down like that. Everyone feels the weight of what that loss can mean.
Surge TS getting some good value out of that Miner. And it is looking like it's going to be that Miner Prince Spear Goblin deck that has been so popular this season.
Yeah, maybe we'll see an Inferno Tower. There it is. A lot of tankage for that Inferno. But still does get on the balloon.
And Hazard looking like maybe a Musketeer in this version. There we go.
Yep, great kite from the Ice Golem there. Should preserve the health of the Musketeer. There we are. Very well played.
So for those of you playing along at home, this Miner Prince deck is still the most played single deck in CRL, tied only with Bridge Spam, with the Musketeer Prince version of Bridge Spam. At 11 wins, at 11 plays overall, or sorry, 15 plays overall, 11 wins, 4 losses.
Nice pickup on the miner there with the skeletons. Half second late. Surge TS keeping the pressure up on the bottom left-hand tower.
Too many decks on my sheet now, Andrew.
I know. I mean, it was one thing we weren't sure if we were going to see that much variation in decks due to the lack of bans, but we've still seen decks from all over the place, new decks every day. That deck that we just saw Carter play is something we haven't seen yet.
So heading into double elixir time, it is Hazard with a slight lead, but Surge TS does have dual lane pressure. Immediate balloon in response to those spear goblins.
Balloon will go down before it gets any death damage on the tower. Miner on the backhand left side of your screen does get King Tower activation. Very well played from Hazard.
Surge just going a little fast and loose with that placement, a little too far inside, and paid for it with that snowball.
Yep, we'll see how much that comes into play now that the miner is the main source of damage.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Surge to keep up now, I imagine.
Yeah, we've seen this balloon deck, the cycle on it, how furious, fast, and hard to keep up with it is. Great snowball there.
Yeah, Hazard now starting to pull away. 15 seconds left in regulation. The hard part for Hazard, though, is that he has been needing to keep his cycle cards to pick up the Prince rather than pick up any minor plays.
Barbarrel goes in to tank for the Inferno. Miner on top of the gobs. Should get a, yep, the snowball comes in. Will not get a connection still. Surge doing a great job of spreading his units out, so not getting a ton of value from spells on top of the Inferno Tower.
And now Surge TS takes the lead.
3 elixir lead in Hazard.
Miner to the front this time.
Yep, grouping everything together, trying to get the snowball value in. An early snowball comes down.
And that balloon just doesn't quite get there again, and the not getting death damage, that's the real... I don't think Hazard expects to get actual balloon drops, but he really needs to get some death damage on that tower.
Yeah. Oh, wow. A big connection on the left-hand side. 3 big connections on the left-hand side, and that is a devastating blow.
Yeah, Hazard knows it. The well played comes out.
See, you've got to love the persistence of Surge TS here. Just not one problem with switching towers over and over and over. Now both towers below 400 HP.
This deck continues to be a nightmare for everyone in CRL West.
Here we go.
Balloon nearly gets through. The Barbarian still tanking. That balloon could get a drop. This might be Hazard taking it.
Drop.
Hazard takes it. The balloon gets to tower. What a win in the second game of King of the Hill.
Wow, that balloon, that was the balloon that could. It never stopped. So much defense coming down for Surge TS. He just couldn't believe it. We are all even going into game number 3 now. Hazard moving his record to 4-6. So you see now Hazard evening things up for Energy in the King of the Hill set, and we're going to take a look at a replay of that last balloon, the balloon that could. No matter what Surge threw at him, there was just not enough.
And Surge TS maybe getting a little overconfident here at the end, seeing blood in the water, feeling like he put the pressure on. So take a look at this. He doesn't play the Inferno Tower.
Yeah, big misstep.
Believed he could save enough, and the snowball, that's where it happened right there. The Barbarian able to tank just long enough, tower down, and next thing you know, Surge TS is out, Hazard goes on and King of the Hill.
Yeah, one more shot from that Princess Tower would have done it, but should have just played the Inferno, should have played it safe. You were so very close on both sides of the map. But, so, you know, Hazard took advantage.
Yeah, and here we are. Hazard now facing off against Carnage. And Carnage, of course, the Ice Bow player, so far has not found a win with his signature deck quite yet. The question is, will he try to go for the pull here in this situation?
I mean, it's one of those things where if you're not having a ton of success, which Carnage has had varied success, he's 4-6 in King of the Hill, but every time he's gotten to Ice Bow, every time he's played an Expo, it has not worked out.
That's Expo for everybody, the deck that everyone thought was going to dominate. And here you go, Miner picked up by the Prince. And Carnage going to the same deck we just saw from his teammate.
Yep. Again, a very strong deck, but if you've got an Inferno Tower and a balloon's coming, maybe Carnage will play it.
Who needs Inferno Towers?
And it happens to the best of us, right? You play such strong defense over and over and over, and you're like, well, I could change it up this time. I've been playing it so well. And then it's that one time you vary it that the balloon breaks through.
Bandit picked up by the Prince. Musketeer gets a couple really valuable shots. First minute down, still pretty even.
That Prince will go down with a nice kite from the Ice Golem.
And an early Inferno Tower from Carnage.
Might we see a spell come down now for Hazard. There's a snowball.
But well defended by Carnage. Spear Goblins do enough to keep that Prince at bay. Let the Inferno Tower do its work.
You see here Carnage confident in sending in a push with all of his Elixir because he has a very healthy Inferno Tower on the board. Normally it would be ill-advised to go in with all of your Elixir when your opponent has such a massive Elixir lead.
So here we are. Hazard still has the Elixir lead. Nicely picked up there with the bar barrel.
Yeah, so they make it look so easy.
Yeah, that's one of the... After Season 1, my win rate dropped because I would go home and start playing all these decks and trying to pull off moves I saw the pros do.
Yeah, I mean, I still am horrible with that Goblin Giant Sparky deck, regardless of how well every single pro plays it here, and the amount of times I've seen it played, I just can't seem to translate that over to my own gameplay. A very nice high minions to take on that Inferno Tower.
And now Miner to the inside for Carnage one more time. He does have a significant lead and just prevents that Prince from connecting.
Yeah, very, very well played defense by Carnage. I mean, that's about as perfect as it gets with the huge onslaught that Hazard sent towards him.
It's going to be interesting to see how Hazard will try to get past this Inferno Tower. Carnage has done a great job so far of protecting it, letting it get an insane amount of value.
There you go. Now maybe a battle ram comes down. Yep, battle ram in front of the Musketeer. This is a good moment for Hazard to put together maybe a push.
Just this deck cycles so fast, though. You see back to a Prince in plenty of time.
Yeah.
Carnage making it look easy.
Needs that Prince to get around to the front of the tower. Snowball comes down. Oh, just barely getting away with one.
And into sudden death overtime, Carnage nearly perfect so far.
Nice high Ice Golem to clean up a lot of those splash troops, or at least assist in the cleanup.
Ooh, Spear Goblins get away. A little tankage there by the Miner, and that's a huge amount of damage on the right-hand tower.
Inferno Tower does not come down for Carnage. Two Musketeers back up that battle ram.
Bats and Prince just stop him right there at the bridge.
Yep, and then Miner to the inside on the bottom right. This pressure is just relentless.
Hazard chooses to just eat the damage on the left-hand lane, knows that that's not what he's worried about right now.
There we go. Inferno Tower is being tanked for, or excuse me, yeah, being tanked for by the minions. Bandit does connect.
So first real hit by Hazard. Second one, does not quite get the connection, and now Miner in Prince, and that's going to be it. Carnage takes game number 3.
A big missed kite from the Ice Golem there to pull the Prince away. Probably was still going to fall with a minor chip damage coming in from Carnage, but definitely a misplay by Hazard. Thunderstruck coming out for Energy, 2 and 6 in King of the Hill, and this is the moment that he needs to bring out all the stops, taking down Carnage and Wen, because once they get to that 1v1 set, Carnage 2 and 1 in sets. 2 and 1 in games, 1 and 0 in sets, and then Wen is 3 and 1 in sets in 1v1.
So Thunder opens with the very quick Hog Rider, immediately native to King Tower, so Carnage having the answer in his hand.
Yeah, and you see immediately there, Thunderstruck a little frustrated, seeing basically a lot of counters to his win condition.
Yeah, this definitely has some looks like might be that RG Ice Whiz. And Thunderstruck playing the Valkyrie version of Hog EQ.
Thunderstruck has to support every single Hog push coming in now, or else Carnage can just NATO the Hog to the center for a straight 1 Elixir loss.
Well, it's not just that. It's what you just saw right now, the Tombstone behind it. So 2 excellent answers to the Hog. Does get a hit, though.
Carnage just sitting back going, yeah, you can have your hit early on, but every Hog hit does add up, and Thunderstruck just got 1.
You know, I wonder how defensively the two players might go this time around. We are in lowest single tower for all of King of the Hill.
Inferno coming down. I mean, maybe Carnage just opts to, I was going to say push the opposite lane with the Royal Giant. That's just no response in hand. We'll get at least 2 shots, maybe 3.
So defended fairly well for Thunderstruck, but, you know, interesting placement on that Inferno tower nonetheless.
Yeah, you see the oops coming out. That's just kind of a misplay, just straight up. Still would have defended the Baby Dragon 1 tile to the right.
So here we go, double elixir time, and we'll see if we pick up the pace now as we move forward.
Yeah, and this is when that Hog EQ that can really punish you with such a quick cycle, but again, Tombstone, NATO, Ice Wizard, even Fireball can come down to move that Hog away from the tower.
And you see Carnage just going for value with that Fireball at this stage, not really worried about using that anywhere else.
With this being lowest single tower, you wonder how many RGs are actually going to come down for Carnage. After you get a few more hits in, you can basically spell cycle.
I'm thinking the exact same thing, Andrew. And you see, this is the problem getting that RG out. Now, the one benefit is it does force Thunderstruck to spend on defense.
Getting just one of those archers with the Fireball, bring that tower down to 15, 49. Hog, NATO.
Wow. Wow, I mean, that's a beautiful Hog Earthquake push, but again, the NATO's behind it.
Yeah, and the Earthquake damage just will not be keeping up with the Fireball damage. And a very high Tombstone.
Snowball might have been a little bit of an overcommitted there.
You see just the naked Fireball coming down for Carnage, maybe seeing that overcommitment from Thunder.
Thunderstruck getting very aggressive right now.
Oh, there we go. NATO comes in very late.
But it pulls the Valkyrie over to the Ice Wiz, does not quite take him all the way down.
15:06 to now 11:47.
You see Carnage just happy to cycle those Fireballs.
We both felt it coming. RG will probably just stay in the hand of Carnage for the rest of the game unless he sees a massive opening.
Tombstone's early.
The spell cycle game is afoot.
Yeah, Carnage
very
content. Wow.
One big hit from the Hog Rider, evening things up, and now with the EQ, Thunderstruck will actually take the lead.
And Carnage had plenty of elixir for defense there, so the second time in this King of the Hill that a Pain player has maybe gotten a little overconfident in a moment.
Oh, and a great Fireball there from Carnage to clean up those skellies that were dropped to distract the Barb Barrel. And I couldn't agree with you more. If you have the elixir, if you have the response, play it safe. You got the bigger spell as well.
Earthquake not ready to take out that Tombstone. Snowball comes in. Hawks might get a hit. Now here we see the Tornado. So final minute left, and this is very, very tight. Carnage may be playing a little fast and loose early on.
There's the Fireball value that Carnage is looking for. 7 elixir to defend.
And the EQ trying to protect the Tombstone does not get it, but still down to 342, so Thunderstruck slightly ahead. Needs to get another Inferno Tower down. There we go.
But very much tanked for by the Barb Barrel, and then the Mega Minion. Fireball comes in.
Does not get that Inferno Tower, though.
Yeah. 343, 342. Thunderstruck ahead by 1.
And Thunder I'm just going to go ahead and cycle his EQ. So now we're in a bit of a race.
Yeah, was that an overcommit? We're going to find out right now.
Well, all he needs to do is defend here, get a Snowball and an Earthquake down. Snowball down, Skeletons, Barb Barrel, Earthquake.
There's the Inferno. And you saw the NATO coming down from Carnage, trying to bring the units on top of that King Tower. And look at how stoked Thunderstruck is.
He is absolutely pumped. He knows that that was a tight matchup and took it with that EQ cycle wave. And hi, everybody. Little Heart, feeling good. Game number 5 coming up next. So the two young players for Energy and Pain. Thunderstruck hoping to get a signature win here for his squad, potentially take a sweep for Energy when continuing this breakout season, hoping to send this thing into 1v1.
Yeah, and not only does Energy want to win this, but everyone else in the league other than Complexity, and probably even Complexity, wants Energy to win this to narrow the gap between first place and last place, or I guess second place and last place. And now we see the Sparky.
So we know what Wen's doing.
Oh, and the late, wow, maybe Thunderstruck should have spent a little more time on that spell than on the BM, and you saw the well played come out and a late lightning. Will he be able to defend this push?
That lightning was off by just a fraction of a second, but that's a very important fraction. That just went from being a beautiful Prince connection to, you know, a kind of okay now being behind by 3 Elixir situation.
Yeah, if that lightning came down a second beforehand, it would have connected with the Sparky, taken the Sparky down, and then demanded even more of a response out of Wen, giving Thunder the Elixir advantage. But now we're just even.
So interesting seeing the Musketeer in this Sparky deck as opposed to the Hunter, which is the more common version.
Yeah. Prince will pop that Musketeer. Maybe we'll see a Lightning again. No Lightning. And a good decision there, because I think Wen was anticipating it, and that would have been too much Elixir spent.
So Thunderstruck needs to find a way to deal with this Sparky. Gets the Dark Prince down just in time, and nice use of that Dark Prince shield.
Yeah, great timing there from Thunderstruck. What a great zap from Wen. Honestly, it slowed everything down, made it so much easier to defend, stopped the charge, 2171 on the top, 2388 on the bottom.
Thunderstruck has got himself back into the mix, though. You know, that early, somewhat of a misplay there, getting him behind on Elixir, but seems like he's back in good shape. And now we're seeing Goblin Giant double Prince.
Yeah. Goblin Giant will get to tower. Mega Minion should get on top of the... Nope, never mind. And look at the damage on that right-hand tower by Thunderstruck.
You know, this is the deck that was run against Carnage, I believe, as a snipe for Icebow. And Thunderstruck may be putting Wen on that deck in this situation.
Yeah, and it's actually paying off well regardless. I don't think Wen was ever anticipating that Goblin Giants come down, although you never know. He is a pro. We have seen the deck before. But he did not seem to have any answers for that Goblin Giant push in the right-hand lane.
So here we go, sudden death overtime. Thunderstruck in a really good position to potentially send this thing to the finish and take a 2-set sweep for his squad.
Just wondering if we might see a Lightning come down on the Musketeer and the Sparky, but not today.
Prince does take a big Sparky hit, and now a lot of pressure in both lanes.
Both lanes here. Thunderstruck has to stop this Sparky. Dark Prince comes down, that shield ever so helpful.
And chooses to just go ahead and eat that Dark Prince shot.
Ooh.
Quite a bit of damage there.
Yeah, Wen now takes the, well, not the lead on the left-hand side.
Thunderstruck playing very conservative in sudden death overtime.
And varying up his push a little bit. You see the Goblin Giant not supported by the Mega Minion. Prince does get on the tower. Dark Prince comes down to push it away.
You see Thunder nodding a bit there a few moments ago. Really liked the way that Prince interaction worked out. Dark Prince saved from a lot more damage for Wen.
And an awesome snowball coming out from Thunder to mitigate all the damage on the right-hand side. Wen plays a high kiting Goblin Giant, also a little far ahead of the Sparky, however.
And there you go, Goblin Giant in front of the Prince.
Zap Fireball, it's a lot of Elixir spent.
Sparky's still alive. Barb Barrel does not take care of it. Great block by the Dark Prince.
Demanding the snowball, and now another dual lane pressure. You saw Thunderstruck there kind of wondering what to do. He had 10 Elixir in hand. Does not get the kite with the Prince on the Dark Prince in the right-hand lane.
So now suddenly things a lot closer. Wen has been battling back.
Thunderstruck being very conservative with that lightning as well.
Well-timed zap from Wen to keep the Prince from getting the charge and popping the Musketeer immediately.
Mega Minion on tower will get 2 big swipes in. And the Goblin Giant on the right. So Thunder looking like he could send this home.
And that last stab was massive, down to 562 when just choosing to not take the charge, but eat a lot of that damage.
And I was gonna say one more Dark Prince swing, and that would be lightning range.
Thunderstruck being patient. He knows he has this in the bag. No reason to push it. Just gonna play defense here.
I'm so impressed by his patience right now, being so new to professional play, and he is not letting the lights get to him. Baby Dragon on the tower, lightning gonna come down. Energy is back in the win column.
Wow, there you go. The Scottish sensation from North Ayrshire takes a big 2-game run at the end of King of the Hill and takes out the favorites, Pain Gaming.
Yeah, not falling to 5 in a row now. 2 and 5 is Energy. And wow, what a big showing. We talked about it, saying that Pain has struggled in King of the Hill. It looked like they had the edge today, but no, says Thunderstruck, no, says the rookie. And what a big win this is for Energy.
Yeah, overall, you know, you take a look at this, you think about the run that Pain's been on, but a lot of that has been 1v1 play. Overall in King of the Hill, they came in today with a negative win rate in the middle set.
Yeah, and wow, just wow by Thunderstruck in that very last game. The patience displayed by him was next level, that of a true veteran. And I don't know how he was able to maintain his composure up there against someone who's been so good like Wen, but wow, and he took down the Goblin Giant Sparky deck.
Well, it seemed like today they were playing angry.
Yes.
And that's what I got. You got that from Carter, you got that from Hazard, you most certainly got that from Thunderstruck. And I love the deck choice there, going for the snipe on Wen.
Yeah.
But still, you know, since that deck got played, I've been seeing this pop up a little bit amongst amateur players as well.
Yeah, and you know, he had that small misplay in the beginning with the lightning, could have, you know, thrown him off his rhythm. But we are going to head down to the stage and talk to our winners, Hazard and Carter of Energy.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with the double team from NRG. We got Hazard and Carter, and we got a bit to talk about here. We had a little fun opening things up with the 2v2. You played a double Royal Hog deck. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was just kind of a deck that we thought would be good again in this meta, especially against the opposing team. So I think it was the first time it's been played in CRL, but yeah, we had a really close loss, but definitely don't regret playing the deck at all.
Yeah, it was very entertaining to watch. What do you think it means when you get to debut a new deck? You have a little pride tied up in that?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of fun to be the first to play an off-meta deck, but at the same time, you don't want to like force playing a deck that's not good just to be the first. So, yeah, I do think it was a pretty solid deck, and it was nice to be the first to play it.
Well, I'm glad to hear you guys put a lot of thought into this, a lot of communication here. It's part of what makes your 2v2 great. Hazard, break it down for me a little bit, coming out here, playing, and trying to pick up some wins for NRG.
I mean, we just want to take every match like it's our first game. We want to have fun out here, especially while we're out here. It's such a great studio, and there's so many nice people out here, you know, just kind of have fun and prove ourselves today, which I'm really glad we did.
Absolutely. Moving on into the King of the Hill. You guys both had a great showing as well. And Carter, we got to see a little more fun P.E.K.K.A Graveyard. Tell me about it.
It's a pretty solid overall deck. Unfortunately, P.E.K.K.A is obviously not great against Lavaloon. Could have played it better, but it's definitely an underrated deck. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll play it again in the future.
Exciting news. Well, last question for you guys, and maybe Hazard, you can chime in here. We've had a couple victories that you guys have been able to pick up just because it seems like there have been slip-ups in the defense. So can you give me a little insight into what's tough for the defense for these teams you're playing against, or maybe times you've slipped up? Is it the atmosphere playing here on the stage, or is it just one little mistake you made?
I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything. A lot of the meta right now is super high pressure, where if you make one mistake, for the balloon example, or the balloon deck, for example, it's a great deck for just applying pressure 24/7. If you make one little mistake, it's going to get to your tower, and that's kind of what happened against Surge TS. So on stage, you're going to make mistakes. It's going to happen, but I mean, I'm glad that we didn't today.
High pressure situations, and NRG emerges victorious, in big thanks to Hazard and Carter. Thank you guys for your insights. Now let's send it up to the casters and take a look at those matches.
Thanks a lot, Rachel. And Carter and Hazard, even with the rough times they've had as of late, they still remain composed and had some great moments today as a team overall.
Yeah, and you know, I love the idea that they're still proud of the deck they played despite it not having success in the 2v2 set. And Got to keep your opponents guessing. Can't just play the same thing over and over. And today, Energy comes out on top.
With some big close finishes, of course, the balloon and then the play there by Thunderstruck at the end. So a great way to start our day, but we are not done. Coming up next, Team Liquid faces off against Fnatic.
So two teams coming out, Liquid going up against Fnatic. Fnatic in 3rd place at 4-2, and Liquid with the opposite record, 2-4 in 10th place. And this is the moment for Liquid to really bounce back and establish themselves as a team that will at least even make the playoffs. Maybe not a premier team, but they've got to get to that top 6.
Yeah, that top 6 is so critical. And at the moment, at 2-4, it's in a rough spot, and they're up against Fnatic that I've heard rumors have added a new wrinkle to their roster.
Yes,
so
they have.
Let's go down to the floor and welcome our teams into the OGN Super Arena.
Yeah, new face, someone making their debut here pretty far into the season. We have Yerai from LATAM last year. You know, moderately successful. I've heard from our Spanish-speaking counterparts that he's one of the best players in Spain or from Spain, top 3. But we'll see how he fares here at CRL West.
He's up against the Team Liquid squad that you know pretty well by now. Surgical Goblin, Buffmac, Diego B, and Canario. Question is, can they turn it around and live up to the hype, to the level that these guys should be playing at? But across from them, as you just mentioned, with Fnatic, the addition of Yerai, who of course played for the Giants both for SLO and RPL and CRL Latin America, adds a big new part to this team that's already pretty great.
Yeah, we have Asachini, Faye, Javi 14, Mikel 04, and you know, they are really establishing themselves as one of the best teams here at CRL, and honestly, I think a bit of a surprise to a lot of the other players out there.
Well, they have some fantastic pieces in Faye and Javi 14, but then the addition of the play of Mikel so far this season, they have looked phenomenal. So back on the towers once again for Team Liquid, it's Surgical Goblin and Canario, hoping to replicate the success that they had against Crap and the God RF, facing off against Faye and Javi 14.
Yeah, Faye has been doing very, very well in the 2v2 set, 4-2 overall in sets, 9-6 in games. Javi 2-1 in sets, 5-2 in games.
So that's a lot of the confidence they have in young Mikel, by the way, putting Javi and Faye in the 2v2 set for Fnatic, because neither of them available if they do go to that final 1v1 set.
Yeah, Mikel having that great showing against SK in King of the Hill, so you imagine they would probably have him go to the 1v1 set as opposed to Yerai, since it's his very first match here at CRL.
Lava Miner for Team Liquid, now double Lava.
And on the other side, we're seeing a lot of log bait potential, spell bait in general.
Graveyard Skelly Barrel, very interesting combination. Is there a freeze behind all that? Yes, there is.
Log comes down at the perfect time.
Yeah, that could not have worked out better for Team Liquid, and now they have a mountain rolling down towards the tower.
Yeah, that is a huge push. You see the poison coming in to try to take care of that flying machine. Actually, very well defended.
Yeah.
But not on the left-hand side.
Whoa, barbed it on tower down to 1580, so great defense from Team Liquid, and then they fire back with great dual lane pressure.
Yeah, very, very well played by Surgical and Canario. You see Javi and Faye just not having enough to defend the left-hand side, or maybe not even recognizing, being so distracted by that mountain of a push, as you said, on the right.
Well, they spent 12 Elixir on that left-hand push while they still had a Lava Hound push coming towards their direction. So quite a lot committed to get that Graveyard down, and they didn't get much out of it.
Oh, and the lightning comes down and does not hit the Dark Goblin, but does get on the tower of the Inferno.
Poison, Lava Hound pops. This is a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Baby Dragon will take care of the Rascal Girl, and now gets on tower down to 615.
And in response, one Rascal Boy swing from Fnatic, who is playing very, very far behind.
Log should be in. No, they go with the Dark Princess instead, and fairly easily defending this Graveyard Skeleton Barrel combination.
And once again, you see a big push on the right and a Lava Hound starting off the left. Inferno down, gonna definitely need to support. You see a Lumberjack and a Mega Minion coming down. Recognize where the Mega Minion is played. Off top, set one tile to the left to support the Lava Hound.
Well-timed lightning.
Wow, and right now, Canario and Surgical just playing out of their minds. That will be towered down just in time. They have a log in hand to take care of the Skellies. There it goes, and that was a beautiful, beautiful victory from Team Liquid.
Pretty much perfect play from Surge and Canario. And they were up against a deck that they kind of had all the answers for. We haven't seen that Graveyard Skeleton Barrel combination a lot, but it puts a whole lot on the board that is easily dealt with by just 2 Elixir.
Yeah, 2 Elixir being spent to clean all that up from the log. You saw the freeze, you saw the Skelly Barrel, you saw the Graveyard, and Liquid just spent essentially 2 Elixir. And then moving forward, they were able to defend with all their splash troops that then created a counter push. So that's one of the reasons I think that deck has been struggling. And wow, starting off with a Golem in the back is Team Liquid.
Haven't seen a ton of Golem this season. Last year was pretty much all about not just 1, but 2 Golems.
Yeah, the massive beatdown decks that were so successful in CRL Season 1 have not really shown up here at CRL West. And when they haven't been successful.
Musketeer behind, well-timed lightning.
Mega Knight coming down for Fnatic.
So despite quite a lot of defense, they still get a decent amount of damage on the left-hand tower, but now Surge and Canario have to contend with a Mega Knight, a Dark Prince, and an E-Wiz.
And does get the jump on that Dark Prince, but really shouldn't matter too much. Only 3 Elixir in each of the hands of Canario and Surge. They're going to take a lot of damage right now. And the Lumberjack Jack being dropped in between still allows splash on the tower.
Yeah, that was a little rough there. And now you see nice Ram Rider play does take care of the Lumberjack, picked up by the Inferno Tower. We've seen how valuable preserving the health of that Inferno Tower can be already today.
Yeah. Just allows you to kind of send in an all-out push or go all in with your Elixir because there is still such a healthy defensive troop or unit on the board.
And Liquid Golem's up again. They need to find their own way around the Inferno Tower of their opponents. Got a decent bit of damage off their first push, but as you can see, playing from behind at the moment.
And you see the incredibly quick cycle of Canario's hand. You got Snowball, Bats, Ice Spirit.
Nice snowball value there from Fnatic.
Yeah, very, very nice snowball value. Just below 800 HP on the tower. Royal Giant Golem coming out from Team Liquid.
So this is an interesting wrinkle. That Royal Giant's gonna get a couple shots on tower.
Yeah, 2 big shots in, raged up. Mega Knight gets on the Dark Prince, shield is broken. Ram Rider, nothing there to defend, but the Ice Wizard should be enough.
An Ice Spirit just to be safe.
Giving log value to Fnatic, getting on the tower as well. And now a huge push comes in, Miner to the back of the tower.
That should be it.
Oh my gosh,
Could
that
take
Golem
game
is on the
number 2,
tower
who knows?
with the,
wow! Wow, 12 HP! Javi and FaZe seemed like they had it. They had the whole room fooled. You see the look of relief from Canario. Surge and Canario take the 2-game sweep in 2v2. What an amazing sequence, Andrew. We're gonna see that tornado that saved everything at the end, but right here, Fnatic really trying to get on tower. They just couldn't pull it off, and you gotta wonder about the upcoming defensive sequence from the yellow team.
Yeah, you see here the Lumberjack, the Dark Prince coming down. Was the Inferno Tower not in cycle? Did they misspend their Elixir? And right there, as you called it, the Nado pulls the Miner away. Not enough time on the poison. One more tick is all they needed, but Team Liquid aggressive Golem, Royal Giant push. Log was there to finish it. Even if the Golem didn't get to the tower,
And here's a place Liquid has not been a lot this season, going into King of the Hill with a set in hand. They have been 2 and 4 overall in 2v2, so this is a very nice cushion for the boys in blue.
Yeah, Diego B coming out first for them. Canario following him, and Surgical to close out. On the other side of it, you've got Mikel coming off that massive SK King of the Hill sweep, and he took down Carter in their match prior, which was match 6 for Fnatic. Following him is Javi KOTH, and of course, Yerai, if necessary, making his debut.
I know a lot of the Spanish fans are excited to see Yerai make his debut.
Yeah.
He's been following SLO. He's been very, very good there.
Yeah, varied success in Season 1 of CRL, but still a lot of respect to his name.
A single Elixir Golem behind tower, and that's why he had the NATO, gets the King Tower activation, but is eating a lot of damage because of that choice.
Yeah, and you see Diego keeping the pressure up. That Bar Barrel will most likely be ignored, and 2 Elixir now not in hand to defend.
Bar Barrel and Baby Dragon will kill the Barbarians, but not in time. That Golem getting nowhere near tower.
Baby Dragon oh, what a great snowball from Diego B to push it within range of that Musketeer that was just going to walk on by.
So Mikel with an Elixir lead at the moment, but not able to take advantage of it because has to deal with the Musketeer.
Last time Mikel lost in King of the Hill, it was against Jay Monty in their 3rd match.
Yeah, currently sitting pretty well overall with his head-to-head record. His King of the Hill record 6-3, of course 6-5 head-to-head overall after his 1v1 loss, I believe, to Lince.
Yeah, and last season, Diego B was 5-4 in King of the Hill. This season so far, only 2-3. So Liquid still having some of those early season woes that they experienced last year.
And again, Mikel golems up, and this time the Dark Prince, a slightly stronger response.
Barbarians come down, Lumberjack, Baby Dragon down. Will the Barb Barrel come in and clean those barbs up? A lot to deal with is Diego B.
Tough, and we do get a Dark Prince connection on the right-hand lane as well, so Mikel now in double Elixir time starting to pour down himself.
Yeah, Diego playing excellent defense there. The snowball coming in, only 1 Lumberjack swing, I believe, is all Mikel got out of that last
Perfect timing by Diego B.
Yeah.
The high golem comes in left lane. He goes hogs the right hand
look
lane.
at that. Not 1 hog pulled to the King Tower. 374 left. The top right.
Wow, the late Barbarians take care of the Dark Prince. Golem's not going to do a whole lot. Diego B playing beautifully in this matchup.
Yeah, and this is a big, big win for Diego B, taking down someone who's been so lights out in King of the Hill.
Giant snowball comes down. Poison not quite ready to do it yet, so Diego has to cycle back to 1 more poison. Not making any big mistakes in this moment. Musketeer left-hand lane, poison down. Diego B takes game number 1 on King of the Hill. Great play against Mikel's Golem.
Yeah, and that snowball could have taken out either tower. The Musketeer got on the left side, bringing it down to 50 HP, and Mikel falls in the first game of King of the Hill to Diego B, now evening up his record, 3-3. So Javi KOTH coming out 6-3 in King of the Hill, known as one of the best head-to-head players here at CRL and all over the world, honestly.
Javi is so talented. We've talked quite a bit about the way he put his squad on his back last season. And at the moment, Fnatic in a good spot to make a run at the playoffs.
Yeah, recently in King of the Hill, he has taken down Hazard from Energy, but lost to Morton from SK in his last 2 King of the Hill showings.
Diego B playing some bridge spam. We have not seen this yet from him this season.
We've seen an interesting deck coming from Javi as well.
Prince charges across, and it's Ram Rider for Javi.
Yep.
Javi is 2-0 with this Ram Rider deck so far this season.
Bandit dashes cancel each other out. Very well timed by Javi with that snowball.
About halfway through our regulation time, and so far both players fairly conservative. Diego B has taken some chunks out of his opponent's towers.
Javi ahead, just a couple elixir.
Second time now Javi chooses to defend against the Battle Ram with an E-Wiz, but there you go, Fireball does get some value, still will not get a connection.
Barbell coming in to support. One Barbarian swing, no, does not happen.
And a very well-timed snowball for the Fnatic player.
So we move into double elixir time. Can imagine the pressure will be kicking it up, especially from Diego. Needs to split Javi's defense as best he can.
And the second that P.E.K.K.A comes down, you see Diego go opposite lane, and I don't know if they'll be able to stop that. No, wow. Diego does get a connection.
Big connection. Bandit behind, Bandit connects on top of Javi's. That will be the end of his push here.
So a good sequence for Diego B. Now has the opponent down to 14-58 in the left-hand lane. Lightning trying to make room for the P.E.K.K.A to get to tower.
P.E.K.K.A will not make it with that snowball. You see the Ice Golem coming down as well.
And now Diego battle rams up again in the left-hand lane one more time. This time P.E.K.K.A there in response. No fancy stuff from Javi.
Yep. And that is going to be a nice 7-for-7 trade there for Javi with a big counter push potential. Ram Rider should connect on the right-hand side.
And she does. One big connection. So with that, suddenly we are just about all tied up.
Yeah, only 7 HP separating Diego and Javi. Oh, and the Bandit dashes to the Barbarian instead, and now gets another big dash on the tower. Musketeer gets a shot in. That was huge.
Diego B just put this thing in his house.
And look at how calm he is on the stand there. He's obviously one of the most seasoned players here at CRL and showing it right now.
Javi a little frustrated with that exchange, knows that that might have been the difference in this game.
Diego goes all in, is met by the P.E.K.K.A and the Baby Dragon. Should be stopped in its tracks. The Prince played in the back. The charge will take out the P.E.K.K.A.
2 minutes left in this game.
Lightning coming down from Javi. Will the Bandit come down in front for Diego? No.
So good spell work from Javi here in sudden death overtime. The question is, can he battle back very, very far behind against a deck that so far has had all the answers?
P.E.K.K.A in the back, recognizing that Battle Ram is not quite in cycle yet. There we go. Goes
Battle Ram
lane.
Prince push. And just a couple little timing problems make that not work out the way Diego was maybe a half step off in each one of those interactions.
Spending a decent amount of elixir on that push. He's going to be wanting here on defense.
Giant snowball comes in, and Lightning very well timed. Ram Rider gets on tower, and suddenly Javi takes the lead in the final minute of overtime.
Yeah, you saw Diego spending just a little bit too much on that right-hand side, or maybe spending the amount that he wanted, but defended very efficiently by Javi, creating that big counter push.
Barbarrel gets into the backfield, takes out one of those Musketeers.
Oh, and the Baby Dragon on the Musketeer instead of the Prince. Prince comes in to be stopped by the Bandit.
Ooh, just barely catches an E-Wiz down as well. So now, Javi, 37 seconds left. Can he take this tower down?
Battle Ram there to help tank. P.E.K.K.A back in on the Battle Ram.
We are in single lowest tower, so the question is who starts realizing that that's our situation. Snowball not going to tower, so Javi does have the Lightning. I wonder if Diego is realizing this might be the moment to get that tower damage.
Yeah, he needs to get damage on the tower. All Javi has to do is hold the Lightning and get it on tower. He will have the lead.
And here we go, Lightning should come in.
Nothing for defense.
Oh, Javi takes the tower down, takes out Diego B, and that's game number 2 in the books for Fnatic.
Once again, the patience there displayed by these professionals out of this world. Javi could have went all in. He could have sent in the Lightning, but instead he spent it all on defense, and then he took the tower anyway with his massive counter push. So now Canario up next.
So Canario wants to get one back so far at a record of 2 and 3 in King of the Hill. Hoping to add one more win here against Javi.
Yeah, Canario definitely succeeds better in best of 3 or best of 5 sets. You know, he was 8-4 in King of the Hill last season, which is still a great record. But in sets, he was 8-1, which is just astounding.
I'll bet you about $1,000, Andrew. This is going to be Hog EQ. Yep, there we go. We still have yet to see 2.6, and I doubt we'll see it this season.
Yeah, we've seen it a little bit in CRL Asia, but that's a lot to do with the bans.
Let's do it with the bans, and of course, Jack.
Specifically Jack, yes. Actually, he's had a negative win rate with it.
So this is the most popular construction of Hog Earthquake used this season. We've seen 5 different variants, if you count the Electro Dragon one. But this one much more popular than the Valkyrie version, but only at a 43% win rate over 14 plays.
Was the Electro Dragon one that countered a Lopakati? Was that what that was? Yeah, that was just nasty. Oh, Ice Golem gets death damage on the tower.
There you go, little guy. Way to do it.
Canario in about a 700 HP lead. Inferno Tower's up. Ready for this push from Javi.
This is also the most popular, or one of the most popular versions of Bridge Spam this season.
And that will demand a response and get a connection if, okay, Skeletons come down.
Cycle is just so quick with this Hog Rider deck. We've seen that so far already this year.
Aggressive Fireball and an Ice Golem to match.
Ooh, Bandit just barely getting, that's why she is so frustrating.
Yeah, Snowball comes in, but that Bandit dash almost evens things up.
So the deck Javi's playing currently sitting at about a 50-50, or a 45% win rate with 6 wins, 6 losses, and 1 tie.
Hog does not get to tower.
And an early Inferno Tower from Canario. You see a little smirk coming out from the Liquid player.
Q coming in, get a little damage on that tower, slow the Prince down. 10 Elixir in hand from Canario, high Ice Golem.
Just trying to protect that Inferno Tower best he can. Does not work out, and now has to deal with this Prince. Probably has Skeletons coming behind in a moment.
He does.
Hog Rider high.
Yeah, he gets the Inferno Tower alive just long enough to prevent any big damage coming in. But very close.
So Canario just barely ahead. There we see the Skeletons this time. Fireball comes in, takes care of all those defensive troops.
Yeah, great Fireball value from Javi. But still behind.
Just look at the way that Canario's protecting that Inferno Tower. Beautiful, beautiful play.
Yeah, he's got to make sure that it stays alive long enough to defend against a battle ram coming in last second.
He is giving quite a lot of Fireball value, though, so far. So right now there's 3.
Ooh, and the Fireball again on the Archers, but not on the Inferno Tower. Something's got to come down. Yep, there we go. Skeletons once again to stop the Prince in its tracks. Just kind of keeping the Battle Ram out of play.
So now we're in sudden death overtime. Things are very, very close. That's a nice connection for Javi.
There's the Battle Ram coming down.
Canario just trying to get that Earthquake damage, stay ahead. This looks like the name of the game for him. Maybe throw a Hog in here every once in a while, but mostly play defense, protect that Inferno Tower, and there you go,
wow.
A big Bandit connection.
The Prince was being tanked for by the Battle Ram. Barbarian's very, very healthy.
That was the connection Canario did not want to see. Now he's behind, and totally changes the entire way it has to play here.
Battle Ram does connect on the Inferno. Prince very, very healthy. Once again, Bandit comes in behind, and that is a lot to deal with. Bandit's still at 100% HP. And a great kite opposite lane by Canario.
Beautiful, beautiful work, but he's still playing from behind with lower direct damage on tower in his spells.
Yep, and there's a fireball coming in, and it seems like Canario's just playing defense at this moment, not being able to mount any sort of offensive presence over the last minute plus of gameplay.
Really seems like Javi might have this one now. Keeping pressure
Oh,
on.
Battle Ram to the tower.
Connects. Battle Ram connects. That's going to be it. Fireball will come in.
Yeah.
Not even necessary. Javi, 14, takes down Canario. Surgical Goblin in a spot where 2 wins would close things out for Liquid. They do still have the 1v1 set in case he goes down here.
Yeah, and a big, big win this would be for Liquid, taking down number 3. Again, we saw the number 2 team fall earlier today, narrowing that gap between last place and getting into that top 6. So a lot of teams pulling for Liquid today.
Yeah, you got to imagine that there's going to be at least one team that's going to get 6 wins and get into that top 6 spot.
Yeah, and then once they get to that 6th spot, they've got a lot to work, a lot of work to do in our playoffs.
So Surge Sparky's early behind his King Tower and not able to pick up the Bandit Dash.
Yep. Surgical 1-6 in King of the Hill last season. So far this year, even at 3-3.
So Javi going bridge spam one more time. The Goblin Giant does just get down, and
yeah,
that's a nice sequence here for the Dutchman.
Yeah, very, very nice Goblin Giant. Spear Goblins take out the Prince. 6 Elixir in hand to deal with a Sparky.
And Javi forced to drop his Battle Ram to pick up that Sparky damage.
And just a half second behind is that next Sparky shot that would have given Surgical a massive Elixir lead. However, now he had to respond with a Mega Minion.
So very aggressive opening play by the Team Liquid player. A lot of people wouldn't open with Sparky in the back, but felt like he had the defensive press to take care of things.
Looks like he was trying to pull that Mega Minion with his Bandit. Ended up sending in the Snowball as well. And a big push coming from Javi. Minion on the tower.
Yeah, the kite doesn't quite pull the Prince far enough away, so a few big swings from that Minion.
1794 on the bottom left. Does get a Goblin Giant stab? He's stabbing, right? He's
yeah. He's a big stab goblin. That's what we call him.
Got it, got it.
Big stab goblin. Bandit in, and Surge just eats the damage.
And Javi going aggressive in the right. Surge not able to support, or the idea is that Surge will not be able to support as much on the left, but he's got enough Elixir in hand.
And here we go, split lane push.
We've seen this pay off before. Sending a Sparky down one lane unsupported is actually still a devastating presence.
Oh, the timing from Javi, perfect with that Bandit.
Absolute perfection.
That was brilliant. That's an unbelievably nice trade. Trading 3 for 6.
Yeah, huge.
And you see the Goblin Giant coming down just in time to stop those Barbarians from getting on tower.
We are very close to being evened up. You see Javi with a slight disadvantage after that lightning comes down.
Maybe a Dark Prince to get down in front of this one more time. Can't get back around to it, so Sparky does go down without getting another shot off.
Hunter comes down finally. A great response to that Battle Ram. Fireball immediately from Javi. Is that an overcommit?
The huge stab gob gets one more off.
Yeah. Those minions are going to go down very, very quickly. And the Mega Minion gets a... Oh, it does not get the swing in.
So as we make our way deeper into sudden death overtime, things are very even.
A great snowball to push it within range of the Musketeer. Cheaper than the Fireball.
And this Bandit is just doing work against Sparky so far today for Fnatic.
Oh, and the Fireball coming down to make it so that this Goblin Giant was essentially a waste of 6 Elixir. I think everyone saw the Goblin Giant coming, but Javi decided to act on it.
Wow, we can hear our Spanish counterparts clapping over that one.
And now Surgical playing on his heels.
And now with about 90 seconds left, it's time to keep the pressure on. Remember, this is King of the Hill, so the lowest single tower rule is active.
Ooh.
If we stopped right now, Surgical Goblin would get the win.
Yeah, and the match win right there. 2 big hits from that Goblin Giant. Once again, you see the Hunter being dropped, Bandit to the side to try to stop it, but the Barbarians do get to tower.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot of swings.
Oh.
Barbarians down to 581 now. Suddenly, it's Javi KOTH in the lead. And a big stab from Surgical Goblin does not get the second one down. Just 7 HP separating these two players. Oh my gosh, the Prince stab.
And you see Surgical calling good game. He's got nothing there. Left-hand side, Prince
there
right
you
to the
go.
tower. And Fnatic staying alive on the back of Javi KOTH once again playing out of his mind in this King of the Hill set 8-3. And Team Liquid could just not close the door.
Javi KOTH just played it brilliantly, came from behind, stole the win from Surgical Goblin, and now we go once again to the 1v1 set. And the question is, who will we see? What an unbelievable, what an amazing match.
Yeah.
A very difficult counter for Javi KOTH, played it beautifully, and now we head into 1v1.
Yeah, never committing too hard to one lane, always happy to change it up. And now the question, who comes out for Fnatic? Who comes out for Team Liquid? We'll be finding out right now.
So coming out, the 2 champions for Team Liquid and for Fnatic. And it is Diego B facing off against Mikel.
Yeah, Mikel here now in the 1v1 set, not having a ton of success. He is actually, I believe, 1-0.
0-1 in 1v1, but has done very well in King of the Hill.
Yeah, 0-1. Much appreciated on the assist there, Rich. 0-1 is Mikel in the 1v1 sets, and Diego B making his 1v1 debut.
So Diego B, bottom of your screen, Mikel at the top. The deciding tie-breaking set.
And a rematch from our first game of King of the Hill, where Diego B came out on top.
Yeah, played that Fireball bait deck very well against the Golem Dark Prince of Mikel. As a reminder, Javi, despite just going through that beautiful King of the Hill sweep, is not available because he played in the 2v2.
Yep, him and Faye, who were known as the 1v1 specialists for Fnatic, but Mikel really emerging. Great fireball value there for Diego B, and a Barb Barrel to clean it all up.
Prince does not quite get on tower. Wow.
I think that's about as close as it gets.
Yeah, break that down frame by frame.
Nice placement of the tombstone to stop the dash, keeping it alive for just a second.
So Diego B looking like Ice Wiz Royal Giant, most likely. That's where we've seen the Ice Wizards so far the most this season.
Ice Wizard will get on tower here.
Halfway through regulation, and finally Diego B takes the first hits.
Mikel down to now 22-34, both playing very, very cautiously.
I'm a little surprised by how conservatively Mikel's playing so far with the bridge spam deck.
Same. Maybe just recognizing Diego has so many frustrating responses that if he overcommits in single elixir. And now the NATO coming in, King Tower activation. Ice Wiz comes down to stop the Musketeer getting on tower. Ooh, and look at that, the bait Ice Golem. Still one of my favorite plays in all of Clash Royale.
Well, only 1 elixir spent in response, although now Tombstone out of cycle, so a nice sequence for Mikel.
Yeah, you saw him kind of orchestrating that over the course of about 30 seconds. Skeletons come down to protect the Ice Wizard. Ice Wizard's getting attacked by the minions, and of course, that Bandit is on tower.
That's thinking 4, 5, 6 moves ahead, like you said, Andrew. Just Mikel started that with that bait Ice Golem. The Skeletons weren't available to deal with the Prince, so he had to play the Tombstone. Next thing you know, he's eating a lot of tower damage.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Diego having to spend Elixir on that. You see the Prince charging, then turning, then charging. Does get stopped by those Skellies.
And the Ice Wizard stays completely healthy, so good exchange here for Team Liquid. Entering into sudden death overtime. Mikkel does have pressure in both lanes and a damage lead in both lanes.
Gonna need a lot of defense coming out here. That Prince will get to tower before the Royal Giant gets in front if it's not assisted. Oh, wow. Never mind, the Royal Giant turned up the heat.
Well, every once in a while, that guy can move. And a second Royal Giant, so 2 to deal with for Mikkel at the bridge.
And no building in his hand, in his deck.
Wow.
A big couple royal shots from the RGs.
And a lot of fireball value as well. Diego B does need to defend on the left-hand side or the right-hand side here. Skeleton's not available for the Prince, so it will pop the Ice Wiz.
The Ice was doing double duty on both lanes before going down. Royal Giant in will get at least one shot, and that should be enough.
That is it. Diego B takes game number 1. Mikkel had a beautiful sequence, but in the end, it was that double Royal Giant push from Diego that really turned the tides.
So Diego B having a great head-to-head showing today. Now Mikkel up against the ropes. If he falls in this game, that'll be it for Fnatic, their number 3 position.
And that would be a big win for Team Liquid, moving to 3 and 4 and really preserving their shot at making the playoffs. A loss here would be detrimental to those hopes.
Yeah, I could not agree more with you. And Liquid, again, an all-star roster, really looking to prove why they are as famous and as respected as they are.
So both players taking their time.
I still do love that skeleton light bulb emote. One of my favorites. Underused.
We don't see enough of the wizard eyebrow or the wizard blowing out the candle.
Yeah, your personal favorite. The Hog Rider, the Screaming Hog Rider I get, showed up a lot last season.
So Baby Dragon meets Baby Dragon. And Diego lavas up. An immediate Ram Rider Lumberjack push in the opposite lane.
A lot to deal with for Diego B. You see he's going to take a ton of damage. That Flying Machine mainly to support. Whoa, yep, that's tower down. And it gets in front of the Lava Hound. Does not get aggroed by the Ram Rider, and that is a horrible series of events for Diego B.
He clones up, Giant Snowball immediately back in cycle. E-Wiz comes down as well. All of that went wrong for Team Liquid.
Yeah. Snowball into support. Maybe should have held that 2 Elixir to try to defend here and create another big push.
So just about everything went right there for Mikkel 0-4, and now Diego B in a lot of trouble. He does have a game in hand.
Yeah, you knew that when he Lava Hounded up, there would be massive pressure in the left-hand lane. The Flying Machine should have been able to mitigate or even maybe preserve that tower, but not getting on the Ram Rider was huge.
And another beautiful play from Mikkel. Takes care of the Lumberjack, gets on tower.
Mikkel playing this picture perfect.
Might see the Ram Rider come down late in this sequence.
The ace up Diego B's sleeve, the clone now being used early on to create a bigger offensive presence. Snowball does come down. Pekka takes out the Lumberjack and the Flying Machine goes down, so nothing raged up for Diego.
And a great defensive lightning for Mikkel, and there you see Ram Rider at the end helping with those lava pups, and unless this clone does something crazy, this should be it. Mikkel 0-4. Mikkel taking game number 2 for Fnatic. We're going to a game 3.
You see Diego B trying to shake that off, wondering what went wrong. Well, he knows what went wrong, but what could he have done differently?
So 1 for Diego, 1 for Mikkel, and 1 more for all of us.
Yeah, everything on the line here in this game.
Diego B under the swinging log one more time.
And this This game is drawable for either squad, so you gotta wonder how that comes in with our deck composition.
So Ice Wiz from Diego B, most likely Royal Giant. Or potentially Ice Wiz Tombstone, lots of options.
Yep. Doing a great job of protecting his Ice Wizard is Diego.
Mikkel looking like he might be going back to that Ram Rider deck.
There is the Royal Giant with the Ice Wiz and the Mega Minion.
Great fireball value for Diego.
Yeah, that is the great way to stop that push right in its tracks. Ewiz might get a shot. Nope, does not.
So here we are reaching the midway point of regulation, and Diego B slightly ahead. Mikkel playing very, very patient. Diego can get back around very quickly to all these defensive options.
Yeah. Now wondering when Mikkel's going to pull the trigger on sending out his true win condition. Pekka down again to defend. Barbarian does not take the first shot from the RG.
And a big few shots for the Royal Giant. Fireball in again, so Diego B getting good value one more time at the river.
Yeah, very happy to rinse and repeat that transaction. You see now with more Elixir in hand, Mikkel tries to support the Ewiz, but it's going to be not enough.
Into double Elixir time, and finally the Ram Rider comes down.
Been waiting on the Ram Rider to drop. Now the Tombstone still in hand for Diego. Diego had to recognize that this was the Ram Rider Pekka deck.
And a very nice Lightning. Ram Rider does connect.
Wow. Yeah, really, really nice sequence there for Mikkel. Technically still behind, but has evened things up.
So here we are going into sudden death overtime, and 3 HP is all that separates both of these teams.
A lot of lightning value on the field again. Ram Rider still gonna connect.
Wow, no need for the lightning. Ram Rider connects. Pekka does get down on the opposite side. Ewiz to help.
One Royal Giant shot does come in. A very healthy Pekka this time. Not gonna fireball is Diego.
Baby Dragon in a nice spot, and Fireball gets a ton of value once more, but now Ram Rider in. Does Diego have enough to support? There we go. Tombstone slows it down for a moment. Beautiful defense by Diego B.
Yeah, and you saw Diego holding the Tombstone. That's what that high Baby Dragon by Mikkel was looking for, but nowhere to be found. Great fireball value from Diego B.
And now you see Diego taking the opportunity to get some tower damage. He knows he's behind right now.
Yeah, trying to even things up. Even though this is drawable, you've seen many times that a game that looks like might be a draw falls one way or the other in the final seconds.
And Diego Royal Giants again right at the bridge, hoping to get through this time. Pekka does get down just barely. Nice NATO to pull the Ewiz to the opposite lane. That is a huge, huge play for Diego.
Oh, and the big last shot from the Royal Giant. What a great play from Diego. The stun not there to assist the Pekka changed everything.
Does he have Tombstone down again? Yes, he does. So Diego B now just 2 fireballs away from taking a win. Has to stop this Ram Rider from protecting. The NATO comes in. Nice play with the Mega Man and Lightning. Wow, this is so very close. Yeah. Mikkel trying his best to get back in.
Finally, enough Elixir for the Lightning from Mikkel, but now Diego B gonna send in a fireball and just cycle around. You see Barb Barrel, Skellies, Tombstone, cheap, cheap, cheap. There's the NATO. Here comes the fireball, and Diego B doing what he needs to do for the boys in blue.
That's a huge win for Team Liquid. You can see how pumped up Diego B is in the moment. The whole squad so excited for him and for themselves. This is a win that they needed. A loss today would have felt like a nail in the coffin for this squad, for their hopes, for the way their fans have been trying to get behind them. This is the one that they want to look at and see as a way to turn around the season.
They started off 2-1 in matches, then fell 3 in a row to Tribe, Pain, and Complexity. Now bouncing back against number 3, Fnatic moves to 4-3. Liquid now at 3-4.
What a huge win and great play from Diego B. Just really smart, really calculated, got the win he needed to get in that final game, and the Royal Giant IceWiz proving to be much more effective this season than Royal Giant Furnace.
Just so much defensive capability in that deck. Played masterfully by Diego B, and you saw the amount of respect on the floor between these two squads. Liquid took a big victory today.
Well, you called it out during the game, Andrew. I think a big moment was when Mikel played the Baby Dragon High looking for the Tombstone, and it was just the very defense. He had so many tools, Diego B, and kept on changing the way he used them. You never saw the same sequence played for him twice, but his opponent, you saw him play the same sequence multiple times in a row.
Right, and Diego took advantage of that. He varied it up, as you said, and Diego B is going to be on the floor with our girl, Rachel Seltzer.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Diego B. After an exciting series of matches, you did well in the King of the Hill. You cleaned it up for your team in the 1v1. And those games, most of them were against Michael. So I want to know what you know about him as a player. What did you learn about his playstyle in King of the Hill that let you beat him in 1v1?
Yeah, so Mikel, we know he always plays a lot of bridge spam and a lot of ground-based decks, especially P.E.K.K.A, because he finished #1 with like a P.E.K.K.A Ram deck. And so I went with a deck in the King of the Hill. I played Barbs because Barbs is good versus ground, and it worked out.
And then what were your thoughts when you saw that you were going up against him in the 1v1 for the team win?
I felt pretty confident because I beat him in the King of the Hill, and people told me he tilts easy, so I was thinking I had the advantage there.
When you hear that somebody tilts easy, what are all the ways you can get into an opponent's head? I didn't see you using the emote deck too heavily, but there were some real choice ones throughout.
I mean, yeah, when someone's like tilted to piss them off more, you can like BM them in game, but that's not me. I don't do that. It's just like thumbs up.
Yeah, I saw you're not easily tilted. You are a very patient player, even going to the lengths to leak a whole lot of elixir waiting for Mikel to make his move. So what are you looking for? What are you waiting for in those moments?
In the Lava Hound game?
I suppose that was the game you leaked the longest, yes?
No, I was just waiting because like with the Lava Hound deck, it's better in double elixir, so I was waiting for him to make the play.
And speaking of plays that made you proud, you had a great double Royal Giant push for the win on Bridge in Game 1 against him in the 1v1. Were there any other special interactions that stood out to you as great examples of your victories?
Yeah, at the very end, when I had an RG at the Bridge and his tower was like 700 or something, he played E-Wiz, so I just like NATO'd it to the other lane. So even if he P.E.K.Ka'd, like the IceWiz slow would be good. The P.E.K.K.A would still, I mean the RG, it would still get like 3 hits.
Slick play. I know the fans at home were happy to see so many games out of you. Anything you want to say to everybody watching?
Nada, solo muchas gracias por todo el apoyo que me dan y let's go Liquid.
Beautiful. Great job for Liquid. Now let's send it back into the casters. Take a closer look at those games.
Thanks a lot, Rachel, and very confident is Diego B in that moment, and why not? He just played beautifully.
Yeah, such a pro, and you heard him even talk about that play that Rachel asked about, the E-Wiz pull with the NATO. Let's take another look.
So jumping on in, you see the Royal Giant push about to begin at the Bridge after this very, very nice defensive sequence from Diego B. Cleans up the Ram Rider, does not take any shots on tower, and then here we go. Royal Giant at the Bridge. Take it away, Andrew.
One of the few times we saw Mikel play the E-Wiz early before the P.E.K.K.A. Maybe it was a cycle thing, maybe it was an elixir thing. You see right there, the big time NATO allows the RG to get on tower. 2-3 big shots in, 301 left remaining, and then for there on out, Diego P. He plays the defense that he's been playing throughout that entire game. And that's it. Team Liquid walks away with the W.
And that was all about the fireball value that Diego had been getting on earlier.
Yeah.
You saw Mikel's trying to spread his troops out, get his E-Wiz away from the P.E.K.K.A to not give that same fireball play once more. But that spread out led to a beautiful opportunity for Diego B.
Yeah, very, very well played by the boys in blue. Team Liquid takes the 2v2 and the 1v1 set to take a big W over the former #3.
Up next, it's Misfits facing off against Complexity. So coming up next, Misfits who have been looking to get themselves back on track. A big part of that, of course, has been the King of the Hill play of Wings.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming off a big, big win over SK, and on the other side of them, we've got Complexity, who's 5 matches in a row. They only fell in their very first match, and we didn't actually see Colton and Razor in the 2v2, if you recall.
Yeah, that was a big shift. Of course, they put things back the way that we want them to be, and then here we go. And of course, it's been the King of the Hill performances of Complexity that have been absolutely insane. 4 sweeps by Vulcan, and then you add in 1 by Airsurf.
Yeah, they are maybe the most terrifying team out there right now. A very, very earned #1 position at 5-1 with the record. And now both teams with very, very different stories make their way to the arena. Misfits 2-4 in 9th place. As we've just said, Complexity 5-1 in 1st place. And a man right there, Adrian Piedra, who we have not seen very much in the white.
And so here we have Misfits on the left-hand side of our stage. Getting ready, you see Baron still on the crutches. Low-Eye Wings trainer Chris and Baron coming out for the boys in black. And a little correction there. It's we have 1 sweep by Air Surfer for Complexity,
right?
3 by Vulcan, and then last time out it was Razor, the King Killer, doing it one more time.
Exactly, 5 in a row for Complexity. You see right there, Air Surfer, Vulcan, Razor, all with the King of the Hill sweep under their belt. Next up is Colton W83 and Adrian Piedra. Colton doing a great job in the 2v2. They're 4-1 in sets, only falling to Hazard and Carter, who you saw struggling a little bit earlier on today, but then they walked away with that W.
So this is a big-time matchup for Misfits. A win today does preserve their hopes at the playoffs, but Complexity surging right now, and they have looked nigh unbeatable since their opening match. We're heading into 2v2, and you can see it's going to be Baron and Low-Eye facing off against Colton and Razor.
So now Baron and Wings making their way out against the wall that is Colton and Razor. Their first 2 matches, they struggled in 2v2 sets. Since then, they have been perfect.
Baron and Low-Eye at bottom of your screen on the left-hand side, and Colton and Razor top.
Ice was there to pick up the miner. Lava Hound comes down for Misfits. I was going to say with the miner, we might be seeing Spell Cycle or Lava Hound out of Complexity.
It's been a lot of Lava Hound out of Misfits as of late, and they have been finding more success with it. Played it to take wins off of SK Gaming.
That raged up Lava on the tower of Complexity, getting a decent amount of damage in. Misfits doing a little bit better job defending, but Complexity does have a bigger counter push.
So Baron's frustrated by something. You saw him kind of throw his hand up. Not a throwing his hand up in terms of a technical issue, just kind of a frustration. I did something.
But still, Misfits playing a decent enough.
Not there.
Maybe that misplay was really big.
Yeah, there you see it. A lot of baby dragons on tower. That's 121. Tower basically down. Complexity out to an early and commanding lead. And now just taking time to reset both teams. And Colton and Razor going Lava opposite lane, and Misfits chooses to double Lava as well.
Interesting. Yeah, Misfits recognizing that tower is basically forfeit, so they need to make something big happen here on the right-hand side of the map.
You see the Lavas of Complexity pushing the Lavas of Misfits into the Inferno Tower.
Poison comes down for Misfits, trying to help clean up some of those support troops by Complexity. Not a lot of damage getting in on that tower.
That's 2 Lava Hounds eaten up pretty easily.
Oh, and
Lumberjack picks up the miner.
Yeah, very nice pickup there. Not sure which lane it was going to go to. Could have been there to support the Lava Hound, but Misfits sees the ground turn left.
So not going to pick up this Dark Prince, letting that tower go down. They know that that was already done, and now getting the Lumberjack ahead, trying to get some raged up lava play.
Lumberjack from Complexity gets 1 swing on that bottom right-hand tower. Top right, though, we see the miner coming in.
and just not going to be enough for Misfits. Colton and Razor played very clean, and it was that opening sequence taking the left-hand tower that made this one easy for Complexity.
You see Baron and Loai sharing a couple words there. As you stated before, Rich, Baron not happy with one interaction, and that was all that it took for Complexity's Colton and Razor to capitalize on game number 1.
So Colton and Razor continue to play in top form in 2v2. Now that they've been together, they are currently on a 4-set streak.
Yeah, 9-3 in games is Colton, 10-5 is Razor. Razor obviously having that great showing in King of the Hill, 3-1 now.
Not just a great showing in King of the Hill, taking out Diego B, Canario, and Surgical Goblin.
Yeah, insane.
So Ram Rider freeze, very interesting combination from Complexity.
And Lumberjack is just on the tower, chopping away, very loose and, dare I say, lazy defense by Misfits.
I think that freeze must have caught them off guard. You don't see a lot of Ram Rider freeze.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking at that going, hey, what did I just, oh no, now there's a Lumberjack destroying my tower.
Now the Miner getting tanked for by the Lava Hound. In turn, the Miner should tank for those pups.
Another King Tower activation, gonna help out with defense.
Very nice play, aggroing all the pups onto the Ice Golem.
So Complexity again out to an early lead. And that Lumberjack just did a great job getting in front of the Ram Rider. Ram Rider to tower once more.
Bats coupled with that snare of the Ram Rider taking out the Ice Wizard.
And a slight retarget for the Inferno Dragon is not going to be enough. And right now it looks like Complexity has Misfits' number.
Yeah, Misfits down to 860 HP in the bottom right. Complexity twice that much in the top.
You know, a lot less Baby Dragon today.
Yeah, that's very true. We're used to seeing basically a minimum of 3 in every 2v2 game.
So varying their attack sequence is Complexity, and this Ram Rider gets raged up and does connect down to 204.
So much elixir spent on defense, still not accomplishing what they wanted. Snowball comes in but does not reset the Inferno.
This has already been such a different day of 2v2. We've seen that double Royal Hogs deck early on, and here we are seeing Ram Rider freeze.
Just when you think you've understood what the meta is, or maybe you're almost bored by what the meta is in 2v2, teams like Energy and Complexity really switching it up.
So Inferno Dragon and Inferno Tower giving a lot of options for Colton and Razor to play defense. Pays off very well for them. They're going to take this 2v2 set, unless a spell can come in last second. It will not. Colton and Razor now 5 sets in a row in 2v2. Leading things off for Misfits is going to be Trainer Chris, who's been doing very well in King of the Hill as of late with a sweep of Dig, and then went 1-1 against SK. Facing off against him, a guy we rarely ever see in this set, it's Colton.
Yeah, Colton 0-1 in King of the Hill, and as you were just giving mad props to Trainer Chris, he's gone 4-1 in his most recent 5 King of the Hill appearances.
Colton doesn't play a lot of head-to-head. We only saw him in 12 total King of the Hill games all last season, going 4-8.
Yeah, and he's never actually made an appearance in the 1v1 set, so that's fine. He's been doing an incredible job as the 2v2 star.
Trainer Chris going Ram Rider.
Right.
And, yeah, I keep about to say, right to those Barbarians.
Does still get to the tower, though.
Whoa.
Very nice connection with that snowball and the rage from the Lumberjack.
Colton not happy about that one. 1 minute down, Trainer Chris in the lead.
I have to admit, I'm very surprised to not see Air Surfer or Razor in the King of the Hill sets when they have both gotten sweeps under their belts.
Yeah, it is an interesting wrinkle, although, you know, maybe we might see Air Surfer come out if this does go to the 1v1 set. Although no, Air Surfer wouldn't be in the lineup now because it's only 4.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
your only options are going to be Vulcan and Adrian Piedra, which are 2 fantastic options.
Yeah, Adrian Piedra, someone who was in basically every single 1v1 game last season for Complexity. He was 21 and 15 and 8 and 6 overall in 1v1 sets. Has only made an appearance twice thus far this season, and he's 2 and 2 in King of the Hill.
Colton Lava's up, high.
Bats come in to clean up all of those barbs.
Yeah, that works out really, really well for Trainer Chris.
Ram Rider pulled by the Tombstone.
Chris has a lot of really great options here defensively between the Ram Rider that can slow stuff down, the Inferno Dragon to take out the lava, and whoa!
Wow, barely catches that. I think I scared Rich a little bit. I almost jumped out of my skin. I thought the Baby Dragon was played 1 tile too high, but Colton knows what he's doing.
Gets in just in time, and again, here you see there's a lot of these defensive options coming out for Trainer Chris. Although that Inferno Dragon now finally gets in the lava hound.
Yeah, that is a great amount of poison value. Barbarian does get a swing on the tower. Trainer Chris playing this very, very well.
Doesn't pick up the miner, gets there late. But still in the lead is Trainer Chris, and I'd be surprised to see him sacrifice that at this stage.
Yeah, it does seem like Colton's having a really tough time breaking through. Is getting some damage on tower, giving great poison value once again. Barbarian will clean all that up.
Yeah, it's just Trainer Chris has a lot of options in this matchup to play defense, and Colton does not have the same variance on offense with the way that Trainer Chris is using his spells.
Of course, that Lava Hound meeting the Inferno Dragon time after time. It's just doing work for Trainer Chris here against Colton. Now, one ill-timed defense, one misstep could allow the miner to tank for all those pups, but very unlikely at this moment.
The pups have to get near the tower, though, first, Andrew, and it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
That's a very strong point. A lot here coming down for Colton, however. Inferno Dragon will not go down. Great use of the bats.
Although now 2 Baby Dragons making their way towards the tower, so this might have been the mistake you were talking about.
1 Baby Dragon on, 1 off.
Wow, and suddenly, suddenly things are looking very, very close.
59 HP separating these 2.
High Tombstone. Ram Rider not going to make it to tower, so we are suddenly in a stretch. Ooh, yes, 1 big swing.
Still not within spell cycle range. Or at least easy spell cycle range, I should say.
Trainer Chris gets the pick up. Final 80 seconds of sudden death overtime, and Trainer Chris does have the lead. That poison going to make things very hard for Colton to come back.
Yeah, that is a big, big time poison. Tombstone needs to come down. Oh, nope, never mind. Nothing comes down to stop those barbs.
So Colton maybe just tries to go miner here.
Yeah.
See if he can get it on tower. Miner does go into the front.
There we go. Miner on. Poison to the tower. Baby Dragon does not get splash damage, and that is very well played by Trainer Chris. Now, Colton fighting back the whole way. Almost looked like he would steal it.
So Adrian Piedra, in his 4 appearances so far, has played some bridge spam, some minor Prince control, and a little bit of Ram Rider.
Yeah, it's been very surprising to see how little we've actually seen Adrian on the battlefield this season. I mean, but with Vulcan and Razor and Air Surfer doing what they've done, he hasn't really had to.
So, possibly Hog Earthquake? No, Mortar for Adrian Piedra.
Yeah, we're going probably Rocket, Royal Hogs.
You got so used to seeing archers with just Hog EQ.
Yeah, very true. Now Tombstone out of play. Great way to bring all those hogs to the center.
Adrian Piedra, as you mentioned before, did very, very well in overall in his head-to-head play. going 21 and 18 over 1v1 and King of the Hill combined.
Barbell comes in to meet that Mortar. Mortar does get one big shot in. Rascals come down to stop that push.
So Trainer Chris looking like Lava Miner here.
Great poison value from Trainer Chris. This will be a really interesting matchup to see how this plays out.
Very curious. You do have the ability to pull together the Royal Hogs, assuming that's what Adrian's playing with the Tombstone, but no Fireball to punish them quickly.
Yeah.
Mortar down for Adrian Piedra.
Archer there to support, taking out those Skellies. Baby Dragon on top again.
Maybe see the Royal Hogs come down now that the Tombstone is out, but no, just playing slow, playing patient, playing defensively.
Adrian leaking an elixir there. Baby Dragon will get splash damage on because he's locked onto the barb instead. And wow, poison value in as well. So we see the Royal Hogs coming out for the first time.
And getting a pretty big shock on that left-hand tower. Bar Barrel Lumberjack not quite able to clean them up quickly enough for Trainer Chris.
Yeah, it's only about 100 HP separating these two. Rocket coming in, trying to catch that Baby Dragon. Very well played by Adrian Piedra.
And now Mortar does not quite get the tower. Tombstone gets down just in time, but looks like Adrian Piedra beginning to pick up the pace. Trainer Chris trying to respond in kind.
Rascal's gonna come down, maybe another poison from Trainer Chris. There it is.
And now Adrian just putting the pressure on Bar Barrel Baby Dragon, but still Trainer Chris eating a lot of damage.
Yeah, now below 900 HP. And remember, Trainer Chris only has the top right tower down to 1602, but he's turned to push the left lane now.
Well, wants to be able to stack up some defensive troops behind that Lava Hound and prevent these Royal Hog pushes and continue to rain terror on that left-hand lane.
Yep, great poison value again, but that leaves open the Rascals to help defend this Lava Hound push. Miner might come in on top of the Rascal girls, but archers are there to respond.
Oh, and the skeletons come in to help with the Rascal girls, although the Miner does take them out. So Lava Hound getting ready to pop. Miner alive, just not enough to get any tank back.
And those Royal Hogs are taking that tower down now well within rocket range. Adrian Piedra does it with this Rocket Royal Hogs deck that has been proven to be one of the great decks in CRL, but is hard to execute.
Wings has been excellent both last season and this season in King of the Hill. Of course, last season going 11-3. This season off to a pretty good start as well with two big performances against Pain Gaming and Creamy Sports.
Yeah, Creamy took down Flash, Jose Bryan, and Lindsay, and that started his King of the Hill reign of terror, if you want to say that term again, because he's 5 games in now, taking on Sergio Ramos and Morton in their last showing against SK.
Adrian Piedra, Miner Musketeer, so possibly Balloon, and Wings showing maybe Miner Rascals loot.
Yep, or Mortar, and then the Mortar comes down to pull the Balloon to the center. Should be the version with the Dark Goblin, I believe.
So here we go, Balloon versus Mortar. Very interesting matchup.
Yeah, a lot of responses to the Balloon in this deck. Again, if the last, or one of the last 2 cards is the Dark Goblin, it should be even easier to defend against that Balloon. But one misplay, as we've seen many times and saw earlier today, it just takes one big drop from that Balloon to change everything.
Yeah, this deck for Adrian Piedra does cycle fairly quickly, so question whether it can get around, but you know, then you put in options like the Dark Goblin, the Giant Snowball, the Bats, just so many answers to Balloon.
Yeah, and can even if the Balloon makes it halfway down the lane, you can play the Mortar up high and pull it back. So Adrian Piedra very frustrated with this matchup right now. Wings got a little smile on his face.
And you see Adrian talking to himself, as he often does on stage.
Yeah, he told us in Season 1 he does that to calm his nerves and to keep his head in the game. It's interesting, something that he started practicing at home, playing alone, obviously. It's how we all start with CR before he gets on the big stage, and just kept going with it.
Yeah, this is all bad for Adrian Piedra right now.
Miner in to tank for that Rascal Girl. You see Skeletons and Ice Golem has to come down to defend against it.
And nothing in cycle to pick up the Miner for Wings either, so things staying pretty tight, although as we move into our final 30 seconds of regulation, Wings does have more damage. Take a look at both towers.
You see Adrian loading up on the left-hand side, knowing that Log is not in cycle, happy to place a Goblin Gang behind a set of Rascals all in one lane, but that death damage got a lot of value.
And now Adrian starting to focus a little bit more on the Miner play, probably realizing the balloon is not going to get through very often.
And I like that play by Wings, even though the Miner still got a decent amount of damage, and you saw the delayed and the bats drop far behind the tower, expecting a predictive snowball from Adrian.
And Mortar just gets picked up in time by the Ice Golem. Balloon high to take care of the Mortar.
And now the Balloon is having to switch lanes. Wings trying to create an offensive presence to play a little defense against the left-hand side. Only 72 HP separate these two gentlemen. Wings at a slight disadvantage.
And two big shots from the Barbarian on the left-hand lane. So Adrian Piedra now falling a little bit further behind.
Goblin Gang does pick up the Miner this time. That cycle from Adrian is relentless.
And that Musketeer's gonna get on tower. Oh, wow.
Is a lot of damage from that Musketeer.
That was a game changer, and now just barely pulls the balloon.
That could have been the whole entire game right there, but now, again, Wings with a good offensive presence here with the Miner tanking for that Goblin Gang.
Well, one of the hard parts is that Adrian Piedra just doesn't have excellent options for picking up those Miners.
Yeah.
The Skeletons are not a great option, and the Ice Golem obviously not a great option as well.
Goblin Gang comes down once again by Wings, finally having the correct cycle. And there's the reason why the Skeletons don't work. The predictive snowball comes in.
And it knocks the Ice Golem out of range as well, so now down to 5-0-2. Adrian Piedra kind of having to go all in this final minute.
Oh, and look at that snowball. Great value from Adrian Piedra. Not going to be enough to take down the tower. Miner to the front, gets picked up by the Skeletons to turn around.
Oh, wow, and the Musketeer does barely stop it. So right now, Adrian Piedra slightly in the lead over Wings. Final minute of sudden death.
28 HP separating these two. It is a lowest single tower situation. Need to pick up that Miner. He does not get to it.
Down to 282.
Inferno Tower comes down. I was wondering when that last card was finally going to come into play. Miner on the tower. Miner sent down to the bottom. Nothing there to pick it up.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what to get for. Snowball comes in, down to 98. Adrian Piedra has no way to get directly on tower right now.
He needs another Miner plus Snowball, and that Miner needs to connect for Adrian. Wings has to pick this Miner, and then he does.
And no Miner pickup on the other side. Snowball comes in. That's going to be it. Wings takes down Adrian Piedra. You can see how frustrated the Complexity player is.
That was a nail biter and a half. You don't even see much relief on Wings' face right now. He's still so stressed out. And what a nail biter of a finish. Let's take one more look at the final 30 seconds of that last game.
So it was the upcoming prediction, just a beautiful pickup, knowing where it was going. And, you know, Adrian goes to the most common spot, the safe spot, maybe a reflex, and then opposite end, Miner gets in, and that's going to be it. Wings taking that game a close, crazy finish between these two players.
Yeah, over and over. It looked like one player was going to take it over the other, and it was just a battle. That's what you got to do. You got to persevere, and right now, Wings 9-2 in King of the Hill.
Looking to get one more now, but probably the single toughest out in King of the Hill in all of CRL West. Across from him, it is Vulcan, who has put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 King of the Hill opponents in a row.
And the other thing about Vulcan is he is available for that 1v1 set.
So Ram Rider for Vulcan. Wings looking like he's playing that Minor Prince control deck.
Prince and Ram Rider meet. Snowball comes in, mitigate all the damage.
Now Vulcan has been messing with the construction of some of these decks as of late. So we'll see if he tricks up his sleeve today one more time.
And you see the idea there behind what Wings was doing, trying to get that E-Wiz, have it be popped by the Prince. However, Vulcan one step ahead of him, the P.E.K.K.A. Wings at a 2 elixir disadvantage, however, does have a very healthy Inferno Tower on the field.
So how might Vulcan choose to handle the situation? He goes all the way in the back with the Baby Dragon, hoping to let that Inferno Tower burn off as much HP as possible before he engages.
Spears to support that Bar Barrel, taking down the Baby Dragon, creating an offensive push.
And now, as soon as you see that Inferno Tower go down, Ram Rider in, but another one back for Wings.
Yeah, and now we have a very healthy Prince and Miner push coming in on the left-hand side of your screen. E-Wiz does stop the charge.
Not your favorite way to stop it, but nice play with the Bar Barrel.
Yeah.
The retarget keeps the E-Wiz alive.
Basically neck and neck in Elixir.
Both players at the top of their game this season. It's a treat to see them go head-to-head.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's crazy to think that this is the top of their game when they both played so well in head-to-head play last season, but I couldn't agree with you more. This is, they're better now than they were then.
Nice work on the Bar Barrel on the back end with that Miner from Vulcan. Now we're in the final 30 seconds, and Ram Rider trying to get through. Will it beat out? Nope, Giant Snowball comes in. Spear Goblins and Tower do just enough.
Ooh.
No, the connection does get through.
And you see that again. It's many times we've seen the overconfident defense. An Inferno Tower would have been able to handle that, but now Wings gets a big connection from the Prince on the left and has to deal with a very healthy P.E.K.K.A. on the right.
Yeah, Bandit went over to the Miner instead of the Prince and suddenly got a huge hit.
Snowball misses the E-Wiz. Would have been nice for Wings, but does get taken out by the Princess. Very clean defense.
Here we go, Miner Prince push again. This time Miner picked up and P.E.K.K.A. right in front of the Prince.
So this is the moment for Vulcan to kind of change the momentum of this game.
And the dash does not go to the Inferno Tower, courtesy of those Spirit Goblins. Very well played by Wings.
Yeah. Knowing that as long as that Inferno is on the board, Vulcan can basically not break through. Vulcan has not been able to get one E-Wiz zap on that tower, or on any Inferno Tower until right now, but right now it's inconsequential.
And there we go, Miner to the front, picked up by the Bandit. P.E.K.K.A. way in the back, and trying to take advantage of that is Wings.
Wings using a little bit of Vulcan's advice there, talking about when you have a Bandit going to meet a Prince, you can send in the Miner to absorb that charge.
And now we'll see, this is looking pretty good. Can he get the Ram Rider connect to the tower? The lightning comes in.
Big lightning!
And the Snowball just doesn't quite do enough. Vulcan put together a beautiful sequence there, but Wings defended it perfectly.
Yeah, 4 Elixir on the board. That will get popped by the Prince. Bandit on top. Both these guys are playing insane defense. However, you see Vulcan's tower now below 900 HP.
It's just hard for Vulcan to keep up with the speed of the cycle and to break through on this well-defended Inferno Tower. Wings playing this matchup very, very well.
You see the Ram Rider going opposite lane now, trying to avoid the Inferno Tower. Will connect, but does get that burn from the Inferno Tower.
And now in the final minute, Wings in a very comfortable position, ahead by quite a lot. Vulcan would need a miracle to come back and take this one.
Yeah, the Miner poison going in is always going to get a great amount of value, whether it's the Bandit trying to pick up the Miner, the E-Wiz, the Bar Barrel, whatever it may be.
And switching lanes this time is Wings.
Getting the E-Wiz down just in time. Bandit dashes to the Prince, however, and not the Inferno Tower. This will be Wings' game, unless something crazy happens in the next 35 seconds.
Ram Rider does barely connect down to 1158, but Miner in again for Wings. Vulcan defending the best he can with an E-Wiz, but Miner turns back one more time. Prince comes down opposite lane and gets a connection as well. It's all going Wings' way.
Yeah, definitely. 2 swings from that Miner on the left, 1 Prince charge and a land stab on the right.
and chooses to Ram Rider into the healthier tower right now. Does Vulcan, just trying to find something, anything he can do, but a very difficult matchup, very well played by Wings. You saw Vulcan grimace there a bit as it opened, and now he knows it's over. Wings pumped up, sending his squad to the 1v1 set.
And Wings is available for that 1v1 set, taking down Adrian Piedra and Vulcan. So now the question is out. Who comes in for Complexity? Do you go with Adrian, who actually got a win in King of the Hill, or do you go with Vulcan, who's been dominant in 1v1?
That's such a hard call to make. Vulcan's a little looser, Adrian's a little fresher. We'll see what happens in our third and final set. So, a lot of questions to be answered in the next couple of moments. The big question, of course, who comes out for Complexity after those stumbles they just had?
Yeah.
You gotta feel like it's gonna be Wings once more in the 1v1 for Misfits.
Yeah, and Wings had Vulcan's number in that game, so if I'm Complexity, I go with Adrian Piedra. As you said, fresh. He looked like he was ready to go, but let's find out for ourselves as we head down to the floor.
So, time for the big reveal. Do you know the shoes? And there you have it. You were right, Andrew. It's Adrian Piedra coming out against Wings in a massive 1v1 matchup.
Now, Adrian Piedra last year was 5-3 in King of the Hill, which was the final set prior. Now, the 1v1 set, the final set. Let's see if he can carry on that magic.
So this could be a big moment for Wings and Misfits. A win here could put them back on track. Adrian Piedra in a big spot here, but their squad is also currently sitting pretty well in our standings.
Yeah, being in first place is it's a very nice position to be in. Wings so far in the 1v1 set has gone 0-2. He's fallen to Frost as well as Wen.
So Musketeer outside takes care of the baby dragon. Looks like variations on a theme for these two players.
Yep. And there we go. Royal Giant for Adrian being paid in the back.
Very early Royal Giant.
Wings there, you see he was down on the wrong lane, and immediately you can see the frustration with himself.
Oh my gosh, just as I was saying, hey, that's a really early Royal Giant. Maybe not playing that so early in 1v1 or in single elixir time. They will stop the damage, but
ironically, look who comes out on top.
Wow. Maybe I should throw an Ewas in the wrong lane more often.
Yeah, very well defended by those guards. You see the predictive snowball knocking the baby dragon out of range, allowing one of those fire spirits to connect. An interesting play by Adrian.
So while the Ewas did get on tower, Adrian is now just a little bit ahead on elixir. So wonder if that will come back in the long run. You see Wings unhappy again.
Another misplay by Wings early on in this 1v1 set, allowing the Musketeer to get to tower.
And with the Barbarian in front, that's just going to be a whole lot of Musketeer shots, forces the guards out as well. Wings in a lot of trouble in game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, this is the moment where Wings probably just wants to have a good enough showing in the rest of this game. Probably going to go to Adrian and recollect his composure to go into game number 2.
So now Wings finally does Royal Giant in the back. Met by Adrian Piedras, which is a half step behind, so the battle will take place on Adrian's side of the board.
Furnace is out of play for both these gentlemen for the moment being. And that Furnace would have been really great if it was played right behind Wings Royal Giant, but hindsight is 20/20.
And a lot of lightning value as well for Adrian Piedra. Doing a good job. Those Barbarians, of course, eating up the Royal Giant, but also making the lightning a lot less fruitful for Wings. And looks like he knows that's going to be it. Lightning should come in here in just a moment. Might try to go for a block if he can get his guards back and cycle, but not going to do it. Adrian Piedra takes game number 1.
Wings knows that those were huge misplays. You see right there taking a quick timeout. We will be right back with you as Wings tries to collect his composure.
So hopefully Wings had a chance to regroup and get himself refocused. You can see he was a bit shook by that game against Adrian Piedra, and as we've quoted on this many times before, as Hazard has said in the past, misplays beget misplays.
Yes, yeah, that is preach. That is exactly what happens, and you don't even have to be tilted. I mean, it's not a true tilt, but misplay gets in your head.
And Sparky for Adrian Piedra.
See if Wings is running that minor Prince control deck. He's got something else. Could still be, we've seen the Mortar with the Prince a couple times.
And AP pretty happy about that exchange.
Oh, and look at that. The bats actually pull the minions over that were supposed to tank for that Inferno Tower. Great play by Wings.
Yeah, very, very nicely played. Adrian just cycling now. I think Adrian played a little frustrated right in this moment.
What makes you say that?
Well, you know, dropping the bandit directly into the spear goblins, not trying to go for the charge. You know, the snowball before, the cycle snowball. Single moment, he was just like, okay, I need to spend some elixir, but also I'm just a little frustrated with that last exchange.
Yeah, let's slow it down. Nice Sparky shot there on the Prince. We'll see how this interaction goes again. I doubt either player will rinse and repeat.
And notice, I was going to say, I wonder if Adrian's going to play the minions on the outside this time, away from where the bats would go towards the Sparky, and that's what he does. Goblin Giant gets in. Sparky not going to survive, though.
Really nice adjustment by both players.
So slowing down right before we get into double elixir time. Pretty even so far. Wings slightly ahead by 78 HP.
Prince going to come down and meet that Bandit. Bandit will dash. Finally see the Miner go opposite lane. I was just going to ask, when are we going to see the Miner? And right now is that moment. That Spear Goblin not getting Prince's Tower aggro from the Spear Goblins on the back of the Giant Gob, so a lot of damage in for Wings.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Adrian Piedra was hoping to kite all three of those, doesn't get all three, so big, inexpensive push for Wings, and now in a pretty good spot in the final 30.
Wow, those Spear Goblins just get far enough away from the Princess Tower to not get the splash damage in. The Prince connects for Wings. Everything going Misfits' way in this moment.
Yeah, I don't know what Wings did in between game 1 and game 2 to reset, but do it again every single time, young man.
Yeah, that is going very well. You see the bats getting tanked for by the Miner once again. Just keeping that pressure up on the left. A sellout push, all in.
Miner not going to do a whole lot, and Lumberjack's still pretty healthy. Bandit dashes in, so now it might be Adrian's chance to get one back.
Yeah, very, very well defended there by Adrian. Lumberjack gets one swing. Nope.
Solid poison value here for Wings, and right now looking very, very comfortable.
Another Minor Prince to the left, supported by the Spear Goblins. Not going to get those last, the one Spear Goblin again. One Spear Goblin left over 2 times in a row now has been the difference maker for Wings.
But this is what Sparky can do right here. This looks like a very dangerous push. Well defended in front. Sparky will shoot the Barbarian, but that's going to be on tower for the Bandit.
Lumberjack and Bandit on the tower.
Oh,
wow!
My word! Adrian Piedra, even he couldn't believe it there for a second, froze and was like, what? Yes, I did it! And there you have it, Complexity, taking it in 3 sets with the big-time win by Adrian Piedra in the 1v1.
And you called it right then and there. You could see there was so much on the board. It had to be defended perfectly by Wings, and it almost was. Almost being the operative word there. And Adrian Piedra shows up for his 3rd match in style.
Wow, just that's again, we talked about, that's what I was saying, that's what Goblin Giant Sparky does. You play perfect, you play perfect, you play perfect. One thing goes wrong, and the Inferno Tower was there, but when you started seeing the Goblin Giant in front, the minions on the outside, and when the Bandit came in as well, it was just too much to defend against.
Yeah, the Lumberjack and the Bandit being on the tower undefended, and that's the thing, Sparky, right? One shot from that Sparky can make up for 3 minutes of minor chip damage, even a Prince connection in there. and Adrian just put that last push together just magnificently.
And he played really well today, having not played a bunch. I mean, he's kind of been sitting on the bench for a while, letting his teammates take the glory with their big King of the Hill sweeps. He came out today and played really, really well, got an important win in King of the Hill. They couldn't take it there, but then when it all mattered in 1v1, that's when he put down the sweep.
And I was very, very curious as well to see if Adrian still had it. But of course, we will go down to the floor right now where Seltzer will be talking with AP.
Thank you, guys. Another incredible victory for Complexity. This time it was Adrian that wrapped it up. We saw you in the King of the Hill. Then you cleaned up for your team in the 1v1. So that was an excellent match to finish things off. Tell me about the decks you brought for the 1v1.
Well, in the first match, I picked Royal Giant because, well, I was thinking to use that in the King of the Hill. And, well, versus Wings gets a lot of good matchups. So I was like, why not? And I've been practicing that. And I was feeling pretty confident. And well, plus I play versus Royal Giant, but he had the normal version, and the Barbs just destroys that version.
Well, tell me a little bit about that Sparky deck for that last match there. You seem pretty excited about it coming off the tower, and not just because you won.
Well, to be honest, at the beginning I didn't play that good. Maybe at the very first part, yes, but at mid-game, I was struggling because my cycle. But well, I just fixed it, and actually when I spark in the back, I was baiting his sprints, and he just sprints in the bridge, which is a not good play, I think. So I just kited, and well, then I just spam and I win.
One of the most things about watching, entertaining things about watching you play on the tower is you talk to yourself. Can you give me a little insight into what you're saying to yourself up there in the tower?
Well, yeah, usually I'm like, vamos papi, todo tranquilo, and well, then I'm singing too, so usually I'm like this, and well, when I win, I just like boom, and well, you see that on the stream.
Big energy when you win, and I love to see it, but it's an interesting change of energy when the team you're playing against calls for a timeout. So Wings called for a timeout in that 1v1 there, came back really strong. I want to know what you guys used that timeout to talk about.
Well, we already decided X, so Russell and Lucy, well, Kyle, came to me, and they were like, what are you going to play? And I was like, Sparky, and they say, oh, that's it, you got this? And I say, claro, and then I asked the spell damage, and well, I just get it, and then I was feeling ready. Russell give me a hug, and well, Lucy the high five, and I was ready.
Well, this is my last question for you. We don't see you play 1v1 a lot. How'd it feel to go up there and crush it for your team?
Well, to be honest, it feels amazing because usually Razer, then Vulcan, then Air Surfer, they're all sweeping teams and they don't let me play. But, well, they are good teammates, so they let me play at least.
Great energy, great insights. Thank you so much. Give it back to you guys. Oh, wait, one more thing. What's up, buddy? Oh, I got the handshake. Maybe I'm going to be better at Clash now, too. You guys, you can have it back.
What a way to wrap up a Saturday with Team Queso and Immortals. Queso, which seems to have been getting a little bit more fluid, a little more comfortable as of late. And Immortals, who have had a big mixture between Lapacati and Royal, both stepping up in their own ways.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the matches everyone was dying for last season, but they were separated by regions. Not anymore. Immortals going up against Queso, something we've been waiting over a year for.
Let's head down to the floor as our two squads make their way into the OGN Super Arena. It's going to be Queso coming out on the left, Immortals on the right. You see everyone excited and ready to go.
Yeah, Royal looks like he is in the zone. These teams very much friends between these players. They've known each other for a very long time. They've obviously shared CRL Season 1 and 2 together. So coming out today for the cheesy ones, the boys in blue, we've got Benihoo, Kuchiku, Dark Angel, and Azelis.
And they've been switching things up a lot in 2v2. Lately, it has been Azelis and Benihoo on the tower for that set, and they've had some good success. Across from them, though, are the North American champions, the defending champs, the Immortals, Lapacati, Crap, the God RF, and Royal. And we can expect one thing, the same thing every time. It's going to be AC and RF out for 2v2.
Yeah, 100% AC, RF coming out. And as you mentioned, most likely going to be Azelis and Benihoo finding some success in the 2v2 set. That also opens up Kuchiku for the 1v1. Azeali's and Benny who coming out. Azeali's is 3-0 in sets and 6-0 in games. He has not fallen yet in 2v2.
And of course, AC and RF, 3-3 in sets overall this season.
Yeah, I don't want to say they've been struggling a bit, but they definitely haven't hit the same rhythm that they had last year.
Well, they had a little trouble going 3 losses in a row against Liquid, Tribe, and Pain. And the way we saw Team Liquid play in 2v2 earlier today, Surge and Canario, not a huge shocker on the back end.
See some good poison value coming down for Team Queso. And back to the 3 baby dragons at least on the field. So
and there are 4.
There we go. All is right in the world.
You know, Andrew, baby dragons really are everywhere.
Oh, are they, Rich?
Yeah, I went to Universal Studios to go see the new Harry Potter land. And the guy who gave me his wand was a baby dragon.
You keep running into the good ones. I ran into a goblin gang the other day. That ended up poorly for me.
Well, you shouldn't be out alone at night, Andrew.
Giant Skelly Bomb cleans all that up. Dark Prince does demand a response. Miner defensively comes in for Team Queso.
Graveyard, no spell to back it up, so just getting that one through, maybe seeing what they might do in response.
Team Queso has 2 baby dragons, a lumberjack, guards, and a poison.
Yeah, that's a lot of answers. Quite a lot of answers to Graveyard, and you know, we've seen Graveyard with fairly mixed success here in 2v2, and a lot of it is because with 16 cards, it's unlikely you won't have at least 1 response in cycle.
And we saw the double Graveyard really get popular last week or the week before, I believe, and double Graveyard being dropped in one place has only worked 1 time. Otherwise, it's just usually 16 Elixir that's defended pretty easily, or excuse me, 10 Elixir that's defended very easily.
So into double Elixir time, and so far, it is Team Queso getting that right-hand down to the 15-52, feeling pretty good.
You heard in their last interview, Awcrap talking about the chemistry between him and RF and the lack of any sort of ego. It's just if my teammate says to do something, I must do it. And that's one of the reasons they've been so successful thus far in their professional career.
Lightning gets in. Dark Prince does absorb one of the shots, but still damage done. Down under 1,000 HP is the right-hand tower of Immortals, and now if they're pushing opposite lane, it is a Graveyard freeze.
Freeze does come in, but met with the bar barrel, just not enough in the tank for Immortals. They do take the tower down below 1,000 HP. They actually take the damage lead. Wow.
Yeah, it was the Baby Dragon splash damage at the very end that got onto the defensive Baby Dragon of Team Queso. So suddenly Immortals in a good position.
Yeah, that last push really breathing life back into Immortals, and now another big push coming down.
Poison in defense. But some of those skeletons just spawned close enough, so now down to 512.
Immortals not having the luxury of being able to spell cycle out easily. Miner does come in, caught by Skellies and a Dark Prince. Very, very well played. However, those pumps are on the tower. A late NATO.
And the Baby Dragon Belch just barely misses because of Dark Prince. That's gonna be it. Baby Dragon takes it. Team Queso comes away with a win in game 1. The turnaround in 2v2 for Team Queso has been thoroughly impressive, and a big part of that is the pair you see on tower right now, Azeali's and Benny, who working so well together. Azeali's currently undefeated in 2v2.
Yes, 7-0, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise situation for Team Queso, coming out with Bennyhu and Kuchihu, which was their World Finals duo, the strongest duo that Queso had. The problem was they would walk away with a 2v2 set and not have anyone there for the 1v1. So they switched it up, and look at where we are now. 7-0 for Azeali's.
So Lava versus Lava in game number 2.
Lightning does catch the Inferno, the Princess Tower, and the Lumberjack. You know, one deck that we saw Immortals use a couple weeks ago was that Miner cycle deck with a lot of spells, and they kept rocketing every time the Miner came down. I love that deck. and they played it flawlessly. We haven't seen them use it again. I would just wonder why.
You know, maybe trying to stay unpredictable, but in the end, you get into some of these matchups and you wonder if a little more fluidity might help out Akrap and RF.
They keep going back to the well with the Lava Hound deck. They've had varied success. A great kite there with the skeletons. As you see, the Dark Prince taking one swing per skeleton, not able to get any splash damage in. A great way to distract for an awesome positive elixir trade.
It's great to see Azealis performing at this level. You know, last season really wasn't what people were expecting out of him. Even, you know, there was a long time people thought he might not find a team this year, and was a last-minute addition to Queso, and the head-to-head play wasn't quite working out the way he wanted, and then we moved into 2v2, and suddenly he is looking like a top-level player.
And we credit a lot of that to the coaching staff of Team Queso, being able to not wrangle in Azealis' personality. It's not like he's a problem or anything. It's just the fact of being like, hey, look, we need you to do this job and this job specifically, and we need you to be the best at it. And Azealis has taken that and run with it.
Well, and that, as you said, Andrew, speaks to the quality of that organization with Alvaro at the top, and then here on the ground, Furrier and Termisva, who have been so instrumental in the long-term success of Team Queso overall in Clash Royale.
And they've never been shy about it. I remember you, myself, and Ash sat down with them before World Finals just to talk to them, just to pick their brains about how their coaching works so well together, and that was a conversation I'm sure a lot of other teams and coaches would have loved to be a fly on the wall for.
Yeah, if you want the secrets, you can read about it in our book.
If only I could write or read.
So entering into sudden death overtime, Queso again ahead and putting a lot on that right-hand tower. This is a tough spot for Immortals.
And that miner was just chipping away with the shovel, which felt like an eternity for Team Queso.
And now Immortals also way behind on Elixir as well, so a very tough spot for the defending North American champs up against the defending European champs.
You see the very high Inferno Tower being played. The guards coming in just a second too late.
"30 seconds away in our sudden death overtime, and maybe Immortals have corrected their cycle a little bit.
Yeah, that Mega Minion, though, played by Immortals a little too high, just got right in the Inferno Tower's aggro and did basically nothing. However,
guards get down just in time.
Yeah, nice push to almost even things up, but a lot to deal with as Immortals. No one wants to drop an Inferno Tower right on top of a Dark Prince. Nothing there to catch the Lava Hound. Miner on to tank.
Boy. That's going to be it. They know it's it.
Yeah.
Well played, Team Queso. Azealis now 8-0 in 2v2, and this duo is looking beautiful so far. So kicking things off for Immortals, it's Royal with RF and La Picati behind him, and for Team Queso, Azealis, then Dark Angel, and if necessary, out comes Benny.
Yeah, and Azealis has fallen to Faye and Vulcan in the King of the Hill set, but he has taken down Wen.
That's a big takedown with the way Wen's been playing so far this season.
Yeah, Azealis 1 and 2, Royal 3 and 4. Royal definitely struggling to have the same presence he did last season.
Well, we talk a lot about rhythm, and with King of the Hill being the second set rather than the third set, he hasn't had the chance to get the number of reps he got with last season being the 1v1 guy.
Yeah, and a lot of people talk about how King of the Hill is just a lot of matchup, a lot of starting hand, but we've seen people time and time again dominate in that set. Goblin Giant sneaks in front of the Hunter. Very nice interaction for Azealis.
Miner picks up that Sparky shot, but the Hunter defends one more time. Oh, this is just what's so nasty about this Goblin Giant Sparky deck.
Yeah, and Royal already looking like he's in a bit of trouble. Only 3 Elixir to defend this push. Oh, yep, and he's got to drop the Night Witch after the Sparky shot.
Night Witch Miner, very interesting. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah, this is a very fascinating deck. Could be some signs of a Golem deck of old, mixed with counters of the new meta, but never seen Miner and Golem together. there's the Lava Hound.
So Lava Miner with Night Witch. Very, very interesting construction here from Royal. Gotta wonder what his plan is for that Sparky so far. I mean, look at Barbarians. Unless you surround appropriately, not a great response.
Yeah, and you see Azili's backing up the Sparky with the Dark Prince, knowing that splash damage will come into play. Look at that, a great Sparky interaction. Nothing there to pick up the Sparky. That is gonna be towered down for Royal. Wow.
Goblin Giant Sparky is just abusive right now.
And just nothing in the tank for Royal on that bottom right-hand tower.
This is the second time you and I have seen Royal choose Lava and run into some real trouble. The last time being, of course, that final game of World Finals against Konos.
Yeah, a heartbreaking matchup for Royal. And one of those moments where a lot of people say, including the manager of Immortals, that if trainer Luis was there, that would have not happened.
And just there's no good Sparky response in this deck. The Barbarians might have been, but that's, again, it's a lot to spend, and with all the splash damage behind it, just not much you can do. A great matchup for Azili's, well played for Azili's. Game number 1 down, the Frenchman now stacking up wins back to back to back. It keeps on rolling.
Yeah, Azili's perfect on the day. Royal now 3-5 in his King of the Hill sets, and I mean, I guess technically it's been 3 matches in a row that Azili's has been perfect.
Yeah, Andrew, I mean, the big thing with Azili's right now, he's, of course, 8-0 in 2v2, but also right now riding a 7-game win streak with King of the Hill included. And part of that is the excellent management of micro interactions. And here we're going to go and take a look at one of these moments from the gameplay, and it's a Sparky. We've already had the left-hand tower down pretty far, but the way he protects this Sparky here, Andrew, is beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, Royal has already shown the Barbarians in hand, so you know Azili's backs this Sparky up with a Dark Prince. The splash damage on splash damage, and nothing there to pick up after these barbs go down. Leaves the Sparky wide open to take out that tower in a very interesting deck from Royal. We heard from League Ops that the last 2 cards were actually Poison and Snowball, so the clone not being there, we saw the Night Witch kind of speculating what it could be.
We haven't seen a ton of head-to-head play from Azili so far this season, so, you know, what data are you working with at that stage? But that game is done and gone. Up next, it's the God RF going up against Azili's.
Yeah, the God RF, who really made a name for himself, obviously in 2v2 last season, and in a massive head-to-head showing at the beginning of this season, coupled with 2v2, but since his first few matches has struggled a bit.
Azili's going Goblin Giant, Sparky one more time, and this might be Graveyard Furnace from RF. We have seen him play these 3 cards in a Graveyard deck before. And now that we're seeing the Ice Golem looking more and more like it could be that deck.
Yeah, and Azili's might be going right back to what was working so well for him. Barbarians down again.
So now it's feeling a little more like Royal Giant. Oh no, it is still Graveyard, all right.
Hunter going to be played in the back. Not the best response to go up against the Graveyard, but there is splash damage there. Azili's trying to play it real smooth, but recognize that the Snowball had to come in.
Graveyard's a cool choice against this deck, Andrew, for a number of reasons, but the big one is that if you can time that Graveyard push when a Sparky's trying to make its way through, that Sparky just has no idea what to do.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's one of the times where, let's say, a defensive Graveyard or even a Graveyard used to just distract is actually a great play.
And that Furnace also is going to do a good job of resetting that Sparky on occasion as well.
Yeah, so RF needs to catch the Sparky out of rhythm. An interesting poison here. Gonna take out the Sparky because the Mega Minion stays in place. Don't know if that Bar Barrel was entirely necessary from RF.
And this is what RF plays. He's a Graveyard player. Now, he's known specifically as a Splash Yard player, but if there's anything he can go to crack the code of this Goblin Giant Sparky deck, Graveyard might be it.
And look at that right there. A great push from that Graveyard, bringing the tower down just above 1,000 HP. But we've seen this many times before where the person playing Goblin Giant Sparky just gets one good offensive push pieced together, and those Sparky shots are devastating. And there we go. Just as we said, the defensive graveyard to discombobulate the trash can on electrified trash can.
That's a good way to say it. Discombobulate, Andrew. That's exactly what's happened with the Sparky in this moment. Does finally take out those Barbarians, but RF should have plenty to deal with the Sparky here. You see turn it there, and now another Sparky does come fine, so Azili's now starting to turn up the heat. Yeah, and RF doing such a great job of focusing everything on that Sparky, making sure that Sparky's the #1 priority. Those Fire Spirits got just enough ahead of that Musketeer to save its life. So this matchup now getting very, very interesting. Yeah, Poison comes down again, take that Sparky down low. Barb Barrel comes in on top. Musketeer there, once again, perfect defense by RF. You gotta wonder what Azilius can do to make a change to get back in this one. The other part about this is he does not have great responses defensively to Graveyard, as you're seeing right now. And look at that, another skeleton on the tower. This, I don't believe, will take the tower. We just need one more poison. Azilius doing his best to try to break through, but too many defensive options for the God RF. And at the moment, now in sudden death overtime, looks like we're about to get a win for Immortals. Poison should be the next card out. And finally, the Goblin Giant Sparky deck falls again, maybe only the 3rd time or so this entire season. And of course, RF does it again with Graveyard. Yeah, pretty brutal counter there by RF against Azilius, and maybe noticing a tendency a lot of players have if they get a good win with a deck to just run that deck back. And a good deck choice there from RF pays off, and up next for Team Queso, it's Dark Angel. Yeah, most recently he took down OP Sam and King of the Hill, but fell to Sergio Ramos. And Azilius just could not put together an offensive presence last game. And in one moment it looked like he might. You saw that defensive Graveyard come out and just completely throw him off of his balance. You gotta wonder if maybe splitting lanes in that situation at some point might have been helpful, but that's all in the past. Now it's Dark Angel and looking like it might be one of your favorite things. Yes, sir. Might be seeing some mortar bait going up against what could be Royal Giant. Although the Zap is usually not in this deck. So Dark Angel, miners to the back, picked up by the guards. Doc Grappling going to clean all of this up. And it's looking very Royal Giant-ish so far from RF. Dark Angel plays his Rascals for one lane. Maybe try to get a mortar down up in front here. Oh, he goes defensively. Try to take care of that Furnace, take it out of play. And then Goblin Gang opposite lane. Maybe trying to sneak past the Furnace, get some damage. Mega Minion does its job. And there you go, Royal Giant, as we're getting closer to double Elixir. Big push here on the right-hand lane coming. But the mortar gets to the guard, so that Prince will probably get through and get at least one shot, maybe two. Maybe even three. Should be back around, oh, no, not gonna go mortar, gonna go Rascals. Might still get mortar up, not in time. Might be just, you know, just a little bit early for RF to throw out that Royal Giant, especially behind the tower where it's not gonna be able to pick up anything defensively if people go that same direction. Yep. Rascal Boy does get on tower, we'll get a handful of swings in. Dark Goblin playing defense and will get on tower as well with that mortar, taking the Furnace out with one final shot. Yeah, great set of events there for Dark Angel. Decides not to support the Prince and go with a mortar again to play defense against this Royal Giant. We've seen games turn very, very quickly with one big Royal Giant or one big balloon push, and Dark Angel does not want to fall victim to that. However, now behind. Miner coming in, trying to get in front of the Prince. The Prince does go to the Furnace, but not going to be enough. That Miner will get some decent damage done, but most of that mitigated.
Miner just hanging out back there for about 15 seconds. Little zap coming in by Dark Angel to try to get some more chip damage back in the lead. And there it goes again.
In sudden death overtime, RF now just starting to push those lightnings, so wonder if maybe he might be switching tacks and switching to a primarily defensive stance.
A lot of bar barrel value given.
Oh, and that's a very inexpensive but heavy push to
Look
the
at
right-hand
that
lane.
bait.
Oh my gosh!
The bait of the bar barrel in the left-hand lane. We all bid for it. I bid on it in my commentary. RF bid even harder in-game, and Dark Angel orchestrated that perfectly. Here you go. Here's the bait. I'm going to go opposite lane and take your tower. And what a way to close out a game. Dark Angel playing the mind games against RF. We've got to take another look at that. You saw the bait set up in the left and then the execution on the right.
And it all started here where RF is reaching 10 elixir, so he lightnings just the mortar and the tower, but now he's down that 6, and that sets up this sequence, and Dark Angel just abuses him over these next few seconds.
Yeah, you drop all this down, even my commentary, I'm going, that is a ton of bar barrel value. Well, it is, but now you need the bar barrel in the right. Not enough elixir for the Ewiz. Ewiz comes down late, a zap from Dark Angel, and that is the coup de grace. Boom! What a play by Dark Angel from Team Queso.
And now all that's left between Immortals and a 2-set straight sweep is Lapakati. So I gotta wonder if he's feeling the pressure in this moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's a rookie, but he's been doing great. He's got a 75% win rate here at CRL West, winning 9 of his 12 games that he's participated in. But a lot of those games, he was playing mortar bait. We'll see if that actually happens again after that intense snipe, from, I believe, when?
Yeah, that was a really, really nasty one. And that might be able to shake your confidence a bit, and it's not looking like mortar bait now.
Nope.
You know, teams kind of caught on to the rhythm where he was playing something normal in his first game up and then playing mortar bait in the second game. So you see him here playing what looks like it might be some sort of spam deck in the first game. If he wins here, does he go back to mortar bait again in game number 2, or has his squad caught on to that rhythm as well?
And the other thing that you and I have talked about a lot is maybe Lapakati was just like, hey, I'm going to play mortar as many times and get as many wins as I can early on until someone counters me. And then maybe I'll start to vary things up.
Well, keep in mind that he did get number 1 and number 3 on ladder in this most recent season. He did that without mortar bait. So he does have other decks he can play at a very high level.
And I love his confidence. He is such a fun player to watch perform here on this stage of the OGN Super Arena. He just loves it. He loves the space. He loves the massive stage that we have, the audience.
Oh, that was a nice fireball. Barbarian should get one swing on the tower. Just barely stopped by that Mega Minion.
See Giant Miner Prince.
And looking like triple spell as well, most likely.
Yeah, probably a poison as well in there. Giant on the tower, gonna get a handful of hits in. Oh, fireball instead.
And decent fireball value as well, but only 2 elixir now with the battle ram coming opposite lane. The log does get some value. Ram's not gonna connect, but snowball comes in. Maybe something will sneak onto the tower.
And I do like the fireball over the poison because we have seen Barbarians played so much here this season. Just a great counter.
That was a big counter-strike there from Lapakati, getting things pretty even. Defensive Miner to pick up the Bandit. So as we head into our final 30 seconds of regulation, these two players are nearly even.
Battle Ram in the right-hand lane. 7 elixir push on the right. Nothing there to meet it with. Wow, Dark Angel sends in the late fireball, and that is value and a half.
Yeah, Dark Angel knew there was nothing that was really worth trying to spend to stop that Battle Ram connection. Might as well save the torrential downpour of damage afterwards. We're heading into sudden death overtime. Lapakati maybe getting a little bit more loose, came up to the tower, seeming a little tight.
Dark Angel playing very, very intelligent Clash Royale today.
And Lapakati not throwing the minions behind that time.
Dual lane pressure coming from Dark. Ooh. The zap! What a zap by Dark Angel!
That was pretty.
I am so impressed by this young man right now.
even with the beautiful plays that Dark Angel's made in these last couple moments, still he's in a little bit more trouble with the dual lane pressure. Has barely taken the lead, but
This time he decides to switch it up.
But that connection was not what he was looking for.
So does he go Miner Prince on the right? Does he go Giant Miner on the left? Looks like Miner Prince on the right. A great kite.
A beautiful kite and the Musketeer to help with a lot of that DPS on the back end. And now he goes in on the right again. Plenty of elixir for Dark Angel, but he loads up his Giant.
Another Battle Ram connection. I believe that makes 3.
Miner to the back. And that's going to be a lot of Miner damage, nothing in response. Oh, never mind, the Bandit down.
Yeah, Ice Golem dropped a little high.
Ooh, forces the log out with that snowball play.
And now the Bandit will demand a response. You see the Prince come down, probably not the way Dark Angel wanted to spend 5 elixir in that moment. Oh, that was close.
And forced to zap Musketeer on the right-hand side to prevent that Battle Ram connection, and now it's looking like Lapakati starting to get in rhythm potentially.
Both these guys playing off-kilter for a moment. Seems like Lapakati has found his footing. And that is a big push on the right.
Bandit does get a dash off. The Battle Ram does not connect. Fireball, beautiful value for Dark Angel.
And a big push coming in on the left now because Lapakati recognizes he has a big elixir lead.
Miner just barely saves it.
That is a very healthy Prince. Prince on the tower. Take 4 by the Ice Golem. 2, 3 stabs in. That is going to be tower down.
Wow, Lapakati plays it beautifully. That was some of the most fun gameplay we've seen all day, and it's been a wonderful day of Clash Royale.
I couldn't agree more. Haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. So now Dark Angel goes down. Benny Who comes up.
So here we head into game number 5, and we were just talking about this. Lapakati with the tendency to play the first game with some random deck, something that works, and game number 2 with that mortar bait. So you gotta hope that he has not done that today.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last line of defense for Immortals. They really want to get to that 1v1 set where I think Lapakati should come out, and maybe that's when he plays mortar as opposed to right now, because if he plays mortar and he gets hard countered, that's a real rough way to go down, and seeing a Musketeer, most likely not.
And I'm wondering if Benny Who is going with that Goblin Giant Double Prince deck that we've seen used as a snipe against mortar, or more specifically, we saw that used against Expo, against Ice.
Right, yes. Oh, and that was a brutal, brutal showing for Carnage, I believe, went up against that, and there was just nothing he could do. Lapakati showing the annoyed Goblin.
And there you go, it is Goblin Giant. So could be Goblin Giant Sparky. And Royal Hog, so Fireball bait for Lapakati.
Yeah, it looks like it will just be Goblin Giant Sparky.
And Benny Who not going to the Sparky too early this time, just playing clean, playing good defense, and trying to get some slightly less expensive pushes for damage.
Yeah, and I think that is the better option at this moment. You know, Benny Who is one of the better head-to-head players on Team Queso. One of the players with the most experience in the league.
And now he Sparky's up. We're not seeing a Royal Hogs push in the opposite lane because they are not currently in cycle.
Flying Machine dropped in the back. A great, great response to the Sparky. And very, very nicely put together push here by Benny Who.
Oh, that's a lot, and he tries to go for the surround with the Barbarians. Does not quite pull it off, so Sparky's still alive, doesn't get that last shot.
Wow. When that Flying Machine went down, it looked like he may be in serious trouble, but he ends up just taking one swing from the Mega Minion at the top of your screen.
Very well defended. Benny Who goes and Sparky's up again, and now with the Royal Hogs in cycle, goes opposite lane.
Yep. Bats on top of that Prince. Royal Hogs tanking for the Bats. That is going to be brutal.
Yeah, and those Bats still will get a lot more in before they go all the way down to 1706. And a full elixir bar for defense from Lapakati.
Oh, that's a big lightning. And one Barbarian remains, will get taken out by the Sparky. Barbarrel comes down, should also get taken out by the Sparky. Lumberjack gonna get in on that splash damage.
Wow.
Barbarrel up front.
Wow. doesn't quite
man.
get off.
That is as close as it gets. Tower down to 782 HP. Benny trying to close the door on Immortals.
Reminder that a loss here is a whole match loss for Immortals. Needs the win, but with that lightning coming in, the Goblin Giant does not quite get to tower. Lapakati needs to do anything he can to get some damage before lightning start to stack up and end this game and end this match.
Bats on the tower. Decent amount of damage in on the right-hand side.
And there he goes. Royal Hogs flying machine other lane.
Snowball comes in, sending everything he's got at that left-hand tower of Benny Who opting to play very conservative defense.
Flying Machine still alive. Is Lapakati going to continue to go on that lane or going to play some defense?
1, 2 shots from the Flying Machine, 582 HP. Bottom left, 341 on the top.
Oh,
That is
Goblin
gonna do
Giant
it.
gets in. That is it. Benny plays beautifully and takes the win, closing things out in game number 5. And something we didn't think we would say a couple of weeks ago, Team Queso just took Immortals in straight sets.
Yeah, and you know, Immortals have really struggled to put together more than one win at a time. They've gone win, loss, win, loss, win, loss in their last 6 matches. They've got to find a rhythm here.
A rough loss for Immortals, but still going to be at a positive win rate for the moment. Team Queso, this is a big one. A loss today would have pretty much meant they had to win out to make playoffs, but instead now they're at 3-4 and nipping at the heels of their opponents.
Yeah, and they're getting right up there with Immortals. You know, they started today 2-4 and 4-2 respectively, and now Team Queso 3-4, Immortals 4-3, getting that much closer, in the standings. And wow, that was an amazing way to close out our day.
Yeah, it's been some of the best gameplay we've seen all season, and this didn't disappoint at all. The big story for me, though, is the gameplay of Azilius. Now 8-0 in 2v2, opening up phenomenally in King of the Hill and setting his squad off to a position where they could go out and win today.
And that's the maturity behind him and his experience. He didn't mind that he was struggling at the beginning of the season. He figured out what he needed to do to adjust, and he has come out as a titan of the game.
Let's head down to the floor where Rachel is standing by with Team Queso.
Thank you, guys. What a big win for Team Queso over Immortals. I'm here with Benny who was the final player to pull it all off. Benny walk me through that last match from your perspective.
I mean, it was like the last match of the King of the Hill against Lapakati, that I think is like one of the best players of the league. And I mean, I was like a bit nervous because when I always play the King of the Hill, lose against the last opponent. But I got a good matchup, I played decent, keeping the calm, and I did it.
You did. I would say you played more than decent. You were fantastic in this matchup, and this was a matchup with a lot of eyes on it. Players are very excited to see Team Queso go up against Immortals. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really know.
The fans have been waiting. Do you feel like you guys delivered a good matchup?
Yes. I mean, I don't know what to say.
We're having some fun up here. We got the rest of the team also helping out. Thanks for the answers, guys. But, Benny I got to ask you, you were playing the 2v2 as well. Tell me a little bit about your 2v2 team, how you guys get along and how you communicate.
I mean, me and Asilis, we are playing like a lot of hours per day, and we have a really good communication. I think that we are like 8-0, and that's really nice. He's a nice mate to play 2v2, and that's it.
Were you worried at all going up against Crap and the God RF, considering they also have a great reputation for 2v2?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think they are like one of the best 2v2 couples on the old CRL. And I mean, I was nervous, but like we train a lot, and I think that we deserve the win.
Well, I think you did too. Congratulations. You guys definitely earned it. Now let's send it back to the casters to wrap up the day.
And a big-time win for Team Queso. Thanks a lot, Rachel, for that insight from Benny, who talked about the hours that he's been putting in with Azilius, and that's the teamwork required to reach this level of 2v2.
Yeah, and one thing that really impressed me in that interview was Benny being very forthcoming about how nervous he was in that King of the Hill set, and how nervous he was going up against the God RF and Crap. But wow, did he use those nerves to his benefit, and Team Queso coming out on top just like they needed.
And a lot of big wins today. Let's head into our results. Opening up the day, it was Energy taking out the leading Pain Gaming.
Yeah, Fnatic then fell to Team Liquid. Right after that, Complexity took the win over Misfits, and as we just saw, Team Queso with the 2-set sweep over Immortals. The only team in the top 4 to win today was Complexity, now 6-1.
This was a big day for squads with their backs against the wall to keep themselves in the mix. We saw 3 teams go ahead and do that this time out, and that's going to make things very, very tight as we pass through this midway point into our final couple of weeks of gameplay.
Yeah, so as we look at our standings now, we will see the gap widening. Complexity 6-1, Pain Gaming falling to 5-2 in second place. We'll actually be seeing them going head-to-head tomorrow. Next up, we have Fnatic and Immortals tied at 4-3. Tribe Gaming even at 3-3 in fifth place. Right behind them is, of course, SK Gaming and Cream Esports, all with the exact same record. Following that, Team Queso and Team Liquid 3-4 now, and the bottom of the charts. We've got Energy and Misfits at 2 and 5. Dignitas moving up to 10th place at 2 and 4. Very, very far away from that top 6-1.
It's getting crowded in the middle, Andrew, and
Yeah.
I think we're starting to expect it's going to be a crazy race, especially for those 4, 5, and 6 spots in our playoffs. And you can follow all the action here 3 days a week, Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Wednesdays tune in 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Saturdays and Sundays, join us for breakfast at 10 a.m. or brunch, I guess, and 1 p.m. lunch for those of you all the way on the East. And of course, like, share, subscribe, follow, tell your friends about it, tell your enemies about it, tell people you don't know to come here and watch CRL West. For Andrew Guy, I'm Rich Slayton. I cannot wait for more coffee.
I'm gonna go eat brunch.
Yeah.